but it's true. With Awaken 180 Golden, clients receive the same fast weight loss we all had, and at the same time see the benefits of what matters most to those over 60. Increased energy, improved mobility, better sleep. Results Awaken 180 Golden clients start to see in just 2 weeks. I mean, who doesn't want to be 30 or 50 pounds lighter and at the same time feel 10 years younger? I mean, at 51, I'm already feeling some pains and aches when I do yard work, and I can only imagine what else is coming down the line. Want my advice? Don't let age get in the way of living the life you want to lead. Instead, choose Awaken 180.
Anton.
Call and make your consultation today. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Reese on the radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
Yeah! It's a tactic that works really well there, Nancy Pelosi. Pete Hegseth is getting, oh boy, is he getting he's getting a fill of that wrap-up smear, isn't he? Oh, baby. He is getting one hell of a dose of the wrap-up smear. It's Reese on the radio, folks, on this December the 9th, 2024, the year of our Lord. Just 8 minutes after the hour. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into today. We have got Mondays with McGreevy this week. Got my good friend Rob McGreevy from the Daily Caller on the air. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the interview that Kristen Welker had with President-elect Donald Trump. We'll get into that a little bit. If you're looking for us online and you're having a problem with us on Facebook, there's a whole story behind that, but don't worry, we'll take care of that in a little bit. But other than that, you could just go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com so that you can watch the show if you are viewing it. You can also chat with us on Rumble or on X, formerly known as Twitter. I got to talk about this. I had a monologue scheduled today to talk about President-elect Donald Trump and his trip to France. And I think that because I believe personally that some of these monologues that I do are usually timely. I don't think that they lose any luster because they don't happen when I plan them. It doesn't matter because these things are, like I said, timeless. The things that I try to talk about are things that you can carry on or think about far into the future. But I have to respond, if not sort of opine, about the verdict today with regards to Daniel Penny, the Marine who was found not guilty of killing Jordan Neely. And I want to make one thing abundantly clear from the start. Let's make this 100% clear. There will be no riots for Jordan Neely in New York City or anywhere else for that matter. I know people were concerned about that. What could happen next? There will be protests, if you will. There'll be some marching in the streets. But there will be no Ferguson, Missouri. There will be no Seattle, Washington. That's not going to happen. There may be efforts to try, but you're not going to see that. Because I believe that the teeth have been pulled from the mouths of these rabble-rousers in the Black Lives Matter movement. I think that they absolutely, how do I put this? Any, I guess, interest in Black Lives Matter is dead. Even though the news media wants really, really bad to stoke that racial rage, they really will. They set up the cameras, they set up the microphones to hear from this guy, Hank or Hawk Newsom. I've got video on him. I'll play him in a second. Even though they were so eager to hear a statement from Black Lives Matter of Greater New York, Black Lives Matter of Greater New York is of no real significance. In fact, they're so insignificant, Black Lives Matter Global Network doesn't even recognize them as a real Black Lives Matter chapter. And the Black Lives Matter Global Network is straight garbage, right? These are the $90 million folks that bought, mansions in and around the country. Patrice Cullors and all that nonsense. The Marxists, who turned out to be nothing more than capitalists. So they want no parts of this Duke Newsom or whatever his name is, Hawk Newsom. We tried to get in touch with him, but he's a coward. He's too afraid to have a conversation. No problem, buddy. You don't want to talk to me, I'll talk about you. You've been given ample opportunity to talk to someone about the vigilantism that you're calling for in the streets of Manhattan, as if there's not enough violence in the city, but that's okay. But Black Lives Matter has no teeth, no matter where they are. They are struggling to survive. They are struggling to exist. Some people in the news media are trying to breathe air into their existence. Please, please, resuscitate them. Give me CC's of relevance, stat. They're dying. Oh, baby, they're dying. And we're happy here. We're happy here. The day of the Geechee is gone, boy, and you going with it. I'll play a little bit of audio for you of this bozo, as it were. Where's this bozo at? Here, there he is, Hawk Newsom. This is him out there talking about what blacks need to do in the city.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired.
No, yeah, he's tired. I'd say part of the reason why he's tired is because he is smoking too many Newport cigarettes and purple drink. That's what I believe he's tired. Duke Newsom, you put on some weight there, buddy. You put on some weight there. You're looking a little heavy. Somebody's living high on the hog. I went to your GoFundMe page to see you trying to raise $25,000. You're at $6,000. You guys are struggling. I get it. And when you're struggling, when you're not eating good, you eat a lot of processed foods. You put on a lot of unnecessary weight. You eat your feelings. I get it.
cleared of the charge of criminally negligent homicide. New London police say they're investigating a rash of commercial burglaries in the city. They do say an arrest has been made in connection with a Sunday night burglary on Bank Street. That suspect identified as Javon Young. There was a wreath-laying ceremony at the state capitol today ahead of this weekend's National Wreaths Across America Day. Millions of volunteers, 4,600 locations in all 50 states on Saturday to lay wreaths at the gravestones of American servicemen and women. There's a ceremony at the State Veterans Cemetery in out the musical Emilia Perez about a Mexican drug lord who undergoes gender-affirming surgery to become a woman led the nominations today, scoring 10 nods. That put it ahead of other contenders like Wicked, the papal thriller Conclave, and the post-war epic The Brutalist. WTIC News Time, 3:32. Here's Jason Caterina with the forecast.
Cloudy with some rain on our Monday afternoon, the high of 50. Then areas of fog tonight, periods of rain during the evening, then some drizzle late, the low down to 38. Spotty drizzle early Tuesday morning. Otherwise, those low clouds and fog linger for us, the high 45. On Wednesday, we'll get rain and a thunderstorm. Some of it will be heavy later in the day. Could lead to some flooding in the low-lying and poor drainage areas. The high of 60 Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Markets have trended downward most of the day on Wall Street. The Dow is off 166 points. The NASDAQ down 138. S&P is down 35. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Don Cusson here. Fall is a great time to get behind the wheel and head out for some seasonal driving. With leaves on the road and rain or snow falling, driving can be hazardous. Is your car ready? Cusson Auto features Cooper and Continental tires, helping to ensure a comfortable and safe driving experience no matter the season. Let Cusson Auto handle your next oil change, knowing our team will inspect your vehicle for all your service needs. After all, we'll do it right or not at all. Call 860-289-2389 or visit CussonAutomotive.com.
Cusson Automotive.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
Texting enrolls you in a reoccurring automated.
1 minute.
Consent not required to purchase. Message
There you go.
Nice run. It's great being back out on the mountain. You sort of disappeared for a while. Everything okay? Between you and me, it was lower testosterone. Lower T? Yeah. The doc told me once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to stay in shape. That's why I started taking NewGenix Total T. It's made a huge difference. Oh, I've seen that on TV. Is it for real? For sure. It's the #1 doctor-recommended testosterone booster. It boosts free and total testosterone levels to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. My wife, my boss, my kids, everyone has noticed the change in me. Do they still give out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves? Yes. Just send them a text.
Guys, text HATCH to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of NewGenix Total T. NewGenix is the #1 selling testosterone brand at GNC and Walmart. Plus, text bottle of NewGenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back in shape fast, absolutely free. Text HATCH to 321-321. That's HATCH to 321-321.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Thank you guys for your comments inside the chat room. Susan, you especially. I have no idea why I was muted there. But what the hell? We figured it out. We're taking your phone calls in a second. By the way, I want to say to you, Roland, on Wednesday, if you don't mind, I'm going to send you a bunch of bumper rotation music that I'd like to play for the remainder of the month, if you don't mind, if you might be interested. Do you want to know what kind of music it is? Do you have any interest?
Sorry, I can't do that, man. Sorry.
Come on, you have to do it. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's Christmas music.
You want some Christmas?
Yeah, but I
music.
have some specific sounds that I want. You can put in some other Christmas music if you want to. That's all great. But I have about 6 or 7, I think, that I'm going to send to you that I've already put together. And, of course, it's going to be, kind of your usual one. But there was one particular Christmas, I can't call it a song, but it's music, that I love. And that is Charles Garibaldi's Ice Skating from Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite, I guess it's one of my favorite musical arrangements for Christmas. It really feels like Christmas when I hear it. And I just all my life since I was a kid, Charlie Brown has had an effect on me in a weird way. I think I sort of identified with Charlie Brown in a lot of ways growing up. So ice skating is just one of those. It's one of those Charles Garibaldi sort of cuts that I really, really like. So I'll send that to you, and I want to see if we can sort of like incorporate them. We don't have to play them every break, but just now and again play, just a little bit of them. And I got instrumentals for you too. Really, really good ones. Really good ones. And my favorite of all, other than Charles Garibaldi, but my favorite Christmas song of all time is This Christmas by Donny Hathaway. That's my favorite Christmas song of all time. And I'm not a big Christmas guy, but I love that song. So that's one of the, and I got the instrumental to that too, as well. Anyway, let's get to your phone calls. We're talking about the not guilty verdict for Daniel Penny in New York City today. White Mike is in Florida. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man. So this whole Daniel Penny thing reminds me a lot of the George Zimmerman case, in the fact that I believe that their names really, and Zimmerman's name, color, him being charged, and Penny's appearance was largely responsible for him being charged.
Indeed.
If Daniel Penny's name was, I don't know,
Jaquarius,
Jermaine, he wouldn't be in trouble.
Well, wait a minute. It's an interesting thing you say that, Mike, because even Eric Garner, you remember Eric Garner. He was another one killed in police custody. You know, he was selling Lucy cigarettes in Staten Island. Eric Garner's mother says that if Daniel Penny were black, he'd be locked up in jail right now. Well, unfortunately, in the New York City prison or criminal justice system, that's not necessarily true, because we know that Alvin Bragg has pretty much let out every violent felon or violent person out of jail through no cash bail. So she's wrong about that.
How come the two black dudes who helped Daniel Penny didn't get charged at all?
Exactly. There's no, and again, it's sort of like saying that the other two guys who assisted him, they just, did what came naturally when they saw him holding him down. And, if Alvin Bragg was sending a clear message to the activist class of New York, it was in charging Daniel Penny alone.
So when's the last time you think Alvin Bragg rode the subway?
I'm going to go with, it's probably been a while. It's probably been a while.
And the prosecutor was some ultra-radical woman who not only was going after Penny harder than she should have, had a history of being lax on criminals of color. And it just so happens that she is a radical whose name was kind of foreign, can we say?
Yeah.
Who, I'm not saying there's a pattern, but there may well be a pattern, okay?
I think so.
It's just, right, it's a joke. These radical, out-of-touch communists who, for some reason, hate white people, and don't get twisted that these people don't hate white people.
Oh, they do.
They hate They hate Daniel Penny because he was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Marine, which is the antithesis of everything they respect. He's the enemy, and they thought they were going to teach that boy a lesson. And they probably have, because unless his lawyer was pro bono, he's racked up a ridiculous legal bill.
Oh, and and forget about, what's the next story that we're going to hear about Daniel Penny? Daniel Penny's moving out of New York City tomorrow. That's what it'll be, as are others, for that matter. This is only going to grow that sentiment that I can't stay here.
Well, I suspect that he's going to eclipse Kyle Rittenhouse and actually have some kind of social media career. He's going to do the rounds of all the podcasts, and he'll get some money. And, dude, if the Hawk Tua girl can get a podcast, this can get a podcast. I'm just saying.
Good point, sir. Good point. Thank you, Mike. Let's go to Fred in Middletown. How are you doing, sir?
Hey. So just to tie up a couple of loose ends on Jordan Neely there, I heard Jesse Kelly the other day say that he had actually killed someone in a robbery, an old man in an ATM. And it wasn't even considered like a murder. It was just like the guy died and, of course, the big rob.
Right. I didn't even hear that story. I heard the two stories about in fact, two individuals, a man and a woman, were both attacked by Jordan Neely on separate occasions. They just both turned out to be 67 in age. And which I thought was weird. Like, is he out there seeking senior citizens?
Weak,
Yeah.
Target.
That's true. I think that even in the video I played earlier of him attacking the gentleman on camera, the guy who caught him on camera, he was clearly twice Jordan Neely's size. And as he's hitting,
or half, you mean? Neely was twice.
Yeah,
his
sorry,
size.
No, the other guy, the guy that Neely was hitting was twice
this
his
guy
size.
Was twice Jordan
he was
Neely's
twice
size?
Jordan. He's a heavy set guy.
Wow.
And Jordan Neely is attacking him, and the guy, he doesn't swing back. He's holding his camera to make sure he catches him on camera. He gets his face and everything. And, Jordan Neely's swinging on him. The guy never loses his phone in the altercation. And, he doesn't hit him back, and he goes, he says, call the police. And the guy's going, maybe I will. But he's not swinging on him. And then Jordan Neely sort of backs off when he realizes that his swings or his punches aren't really getting any ground or gaining any ground. So he finally leaves him alone. He just walks off, which, again, I find fascinating that Jordan Neely accosts the guy and immediately starts swinging instantaneous after the guy's already walked away.
Yeah. Well, what Jesse Kelly said was that the prosecutor who decided not to prosecute him because of his life circumstances, and it's not too bad this old guy died, but hey, And so she was also in on the prosecution of Daniel Penny.
Indeed.
So but here's the thing is, like, there is no loss. Nobody misses that guy. His family are glad he's gone because now he's not trying to knock on their door. And
That's
of course
true.
they turn him away. And everyone on that train, had Daniel Penny not choked him out, he should have been stomped to death. There's no way he should have gotten off that train alive after what he did.
And it's funny because a lot of people are talking about, under normal circumstances, if he had been traveling through the Bronx or through parts of Brooklyn, and he had been doing that to average citizens other than older people, women, younger people, it would have been a completely different outcome. He would have been assaulted by everyone riding on that train in the right or the wrong neighborhood. I'll put it that way. In the wrong neighborhood, he would have never – it would have been a far worse situation. So it's interesting that, again, like I said, Daniel Penny, the worst that'll happen is there'll be a couple of rabble-rousers who will hold some press conferences, but I don't think anything comes of this beyond it.
Well, that's interesting. Let's hope you're right.
I think so. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Ralph, who's in my very favorite part of the Kakalakis, South Carolina. What's going on, Ralph?
Come on down, Reese. You love it down there.
How you doing, sir?
Good. First of all, you got to realize before, when Penny was charged, they had a GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
And they raised over $2 million for him.
I know.
And that's why he's being sued for money, because they figure he's got money.
Yeah.
And this is something that, to me, is really, really sad. And the Black Lives Matter now, where they're protesting, these are the same people that stole millions of dollars and bought these great big homes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. And that's the interesting part that I said earlier, Ralph, is that, the corrupt Black Lives Matter global initiative or global network, they have disavowed this local New York City chapter of Black Lives Matter. I went to go look it up because I was trying to find another number for Hawk Newsom, who is the leader of this group. And on his Wikipedia page, they say that the global initiative disavows any contact or any association with them. So the crooks, the people who stole $90 million, don't want to be a part of his organization because they think that they are too corrupt. So it's just laughable.
And the reason he's doing it is because now he's getting publicity, and they put him on TV. If they totally ignored him,
that's exactly right.
And that's what they should be doing, because he's nobody, he's nothing. And the real fact, Reese, is these are the real racists.
Yep.
They hate white people. They hate successful black people, too.
Indeed. That's exactly right. They hate success, which, what, it sort of lends itself to what my monologue is going to be about on Wednesday. But, yeah, you're 100% right. Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah,
thank you, man. You too. Yeah, this is it's insane because I know that Hawk Newsom knows that he has got to say the most outlandish stuff to get put on television. So he's got to scream and holler about how, we need to have vigilantes in the street. Now, they're always calling for vigilantes or for people to do the work that they themselves will never do. Hawk will never run out there and be a vigilante and actually take someone's life or to harm them. He'll never do that. Ever do that. He can ask other people to.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired.
There's some black people out there going, who's this we? Who do you mean we? Just, you want to clear that up a little bit? We'll take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Listen, you don't want to start the new year with the same old joint pain, do you? You want to lose sleep? Not able to take great walks or do what you love because of your knees or hips or whatever? Well, don't do it. Take action now to get the pain relief you deserve for 2025. Call QC Kinetics and say goodbye to shoulder and back pain right right? QC Kinetics, they're local medical professionals here in Connecticut waiting for you. Their advanced protocols in regenerative medicine have helped tens of thousands of people. I'm talking lasting relief. Imagine a new year without those achy joints. No more pain pills, no more steroid shots. QC Kinetics uses the healing properties of your own body to attack the root cause of your pain, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. It's the future of medicine. If you've been told surgery is your best option, you deserve a second opinion. Just call QC Kinetics. The consultation's free, and then you can make an informed decision. You can use your HSA and FSA dollars too. Live your best life in 2025. Get started right now. 860-440-PAIN, 860-440-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics. They have 3 offices in Connecticut. That consultation is free. 860-440-PAIN.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you have shoeboxes, videotapes, and photos? Starting now, radio listeners get access to our best last-minute holiday deals from Legacy Box. Get your family's videotapes converted for just $9 and photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents each, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of old media. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media. It's the most meaningful gift holiday season. Take advantage of this exclusive last-minute holiday offer from Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are back. It's Reese on the radio, and coming up in the next hour, we've got our good friend Rob McGreevy of the Daily Caller News Foundation. Well, Daily Caller. The News Foundation is a separate thing altogether. But of the Daily Caller for Mondays with McGreevy, we'll talk about that Sunday interview with Kristen Welker, NBC News, Meet the Press, and President-elect Donald Trump. We'll get into that. We've got some audio sound bites, video sound bites for that as well. We're going to talk to him about his article on that subject matter, which is, again, that particular part of the conversation about RFK and Health and Human Services and Big Pharma and vaccines is an interesting point that a lot of people, or at least a part of the interview that a lot of people were talking about. So we'll talk to him about that as well. So stick around for that. Let's go to my good friend Matt in Bristol. How you doing, sir?
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. How you doing?
Pretty good, sir. Welcome to your Monday.
Thank you, sir. So I'm going to try not to slaughter this because they're hard words. But
okay,
have you ever heard of the theory of thesis, antithesis, synthesis?
No. Wow, that's a mouthful. So
that's why I said I hope I didn't slaughter it, but I'm pretty sure I got it. So when you're talking about what happened on the subway, so it's basically a theory that everything goes around in a circle.
Okay.
So you have a beginning, a middle, you get to an extreme at one point.
Okay.
And then you come back to an extreme at another point until you get back to the middle again.
Oh, it's almost like it's the sort of infinity swirl, so to speak, right? It's like that infinity thing is where you keep thinking you're going back, you're going so far back, it only goes back the other way, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go so far forward where people get to a point where they start slipping back.
Mm-hmm.
They start slipping backwards. And that's what I'm worried about. Like, so, like as of now, like BLM and all these places, they pushed it so far forward to the point where you can't even defend yourself.
Right.
That what worries me is we're going to slip backwards to the point where now it goes the opposite way. And
you're 100% right.
If you're a white guy and you assault a black guy, they say, well, he's black, so he's probably doing something wrong. So
I'll tell you why that's.
theory.
I'll tell you why you're right on that. But when it happens, is sort of up for grabs, so to speak, right? It's neither. It's only relevant to the place in time where we are. So here's what I believe, and I think the reason why we're in the place that we are today is, in essence, we get to a revolution, if you will, as we get closer to people recognizing something they forgot. Here's the best way to describe it. So right now, we are very clear-headed about the damage that Black Lives Matter has done to our society writ large, right? We know that, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, that the deaths of every one of those individuals ended up at first being sort of like their calling card, right? It was the thing that they could sort of rest their laurels on, or they could use as a moral compass for the rest of us. And then it got ridiculous, right? Then moments like Harambe, the gorilla who was shot by a zookeeper because he was dragging a little baby around. Black Lives Matter puts out a tweet and says, oh, look, see, Black Lives Matter, they even killed a monkey. And Black Lives Matter turns around and ends up looking stupid because of that stupid tweet. And people start
on the circle. You're at antithesis.
Exactly.
At that circle.
Exactly. And right now, that's exactly what happened with Black Lives Matter, where it is right now. And at the point where it's become so absurd that they had to revert back to, I guess, normalcy to some degree. But yeah, we're going to go back in the other direction soon enough. Let's get our first check of the traffic with our good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, the southbound side of 91, you'll see some sluggish traffic between exit 37 and 35 in Windsor. Again, some slow traffic 33 down to 32 A and B. Another bump as you move down by exit 28. Northbound 91, a little slow 25, 26 in Wethersfield. After that, you're going to see a little slow traffic between 35 and 36 in Windsor. Westbound side 84 is slowing 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound heavy from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291's a little slow getting over the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound's moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound, some slow traffic Harvard Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. And again, some slow traffic as you move up on 9 northbound between 32 and 34 moving into New Britain. On the westbound side of 84, delays in Cheshire 26 up to 25. 84 eastbound's a little slow over the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing by exit 5. If you are traveling southbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, DOT has the left lane out between exit 60 and 59 with a crash there. So look out for that. That's right as you move into the West Rock Tunnel. And if you are traveling into New Haven right now, southbound 95 delays 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
I'm at Big Y, and my son calls to tell me tomorrow's the holiday cookie swap. Then I see the baker putting out these fresh cookies, and she says, 2 dozen of these. Wrap them individually. Done. Nice.
Here's to happy holidays and tasty traditions. Big Y. Nicely done.
WTIC weather.
Cloudy with some rain on our Monday afternoon, the high of 50. Then areas of fog tonight, periods of rain during the evening, then some drizzle late, the low down to 38. Spotty drizzle early Tuesday morning. Otherwise, those low clouds and fog linger for us, the high 45. On Wednesday, we'll get rain and a thunderstorm. Some of it will be heavy later in the day. Could lead to some flooding in the low-lying and poor drainage areas, the high of 60 Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A person of interest in connection with the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson has been picked up in Altoona, Pennsylvania. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione. He's facing an unrelated weapons charge. CBS's Anna Schechter says there were several clues that led law enforcement to believe Mangione was their man.
When you pool this together with the monopoly money found in the backpack, the words deny, delay, and depose written on the bullet casings that were recovered at the scene, all this points to a motive, a person angry about the healthcare insurance industry.
The suspect picked up when he was spotted by a McDonald's employee eating in a restaurant this morning in Altoona. The ex-Marine who put a fatal chokehold on a New York City subway rider has been acquitted.
Family and supporters of Jordan Neely were dismayed after a New York jury acquitted his killer. 26-year-old Daniel Penny gripped Neely around the neck on the floor of a subway car for about 6 minutes, strap hangers capturing some of it on video. Neely struggled with homelessness, drug addiction, and mental health issues, and subway passengers say he entered the train acting erratically and shouting threats.
That's reporter Tom McNicholas outside the courthouse in Manhattan. Investigations continuing after police in Milford say a person was found in a burning car over the weekend. This was Saturday night. They were tipped off to flames coming from Smith's Point. The law enforcement crews arrived on scene to find that vehicle in a wooded area not far from the Connecticut Audubon Society facility. They haven't named the person yet, nor have they said an exact cause of death. Leaders of the State Teachers Union dive into a national issue when they join a rally in D.C. Wednesday. The Connecticut Education Association is calling on the Senate to pass the Social Security Fairness Act. The bill would allow full Social Security benefits for public employees like teachers who earn a public pension. Those benefits are currently limited by law. CEA Vice President Jocelyn Delancey says it's a move that must be made before wider discussions about Social Security's future.
This penalty is really unfair. It is, in effect, stealing from people who've paid into the system. And so we need to fix that first. Let's fix that first. Remove the penalty.
The House passed the bill, but it'll die at the end of the year unless it comes up for a vote in the Senate. Veterans and other leaders held a wreath-laying ceremony at the state capitol today ahead of National Wreaths Across America Day this weekend. That's the day where thousands of wreaths are laid at the gravesites of American servicemen and women who served this country. Senator Richard Blumenthal.
Mantra for this occasion was remember, honor, teach. Remember, honor, teach. I can't think of a time in our history when it was more necessary to remember, honor, and teach about our veterans.
Ceremony set for this Saturday noon at the State Veterans Cemetery in Middletown. And the rush is on to make cards and packages, mail cards and packages, so they reach their destination in time for the holiday. Spokeswoman for the U.S. Postal Service in Connecticut, Amy Gibbs, says the deadline for first-class mail, primarily greeting cards, is December 18th. The priority mail deadline is the 19th, and the last day to ensure your package gets where it needs to be is December 21st for Priority Mail Express. Gibbs with some tips on when it comes to packing.
Use a sturdy box. Use a clean, new box. Don't recycle old boxes. Use packing tape, proper packing tape. Write very clearly and legibly the recipient's address and your return address.
Closing bell
triple check your zip code.
Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow down 240 points. NASDAQ down 123. S&P down 37. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck.
1 minute.
With my friend Paige at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. I asked about the new Awaken 180 Golden Program. I mean, feeling and looking younger in addition to weight loss? Come on. But it's true. With Awaken 180 Golden, clients receive the same fast weight loss we all had, and at the same time see the benefits of what matters most to those over 60. Increased energy, improved mobility, better sleep. Results Awaken 180 Golden clients start to see in just 2 weeks. I mean, who doesn't want to be 30 or 50 pounds lighter, and at the same time feel 10 years younger? I mean, at 51, I'm already feeling some pains and aches when I do yard work, and I can only imagine what else is coming down the line. Want my advice? Don't let age get in the way of living the life you want to lead. Instead, choose Awaken 180 Golden. Call and make your consultation today. Call 844-346-1800. That's 346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oop, darn it. That didn't work. My
This
audio.
could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do.
That's right. It's time for the stupidest thing that I've read today. And this is only stupid because we knew this was going to happen. Many of us were just waiting, like literally watching our clocks or watches to find out when it was going to happen. And let me say this, Justin Trudeau, good luck. According to a Washington Post article that you can read at reeseontheradio.com, go to REESE on the radio.com. It turns that those in the transgender community, according to this report, are packing their bags and grabbing their meds to move to Canada. People of the transgender community are just picking up where they live, their jobs, everything, and moving to Canada. Yeah. Because they are concerned that they will not be able to get gender-affirming care in the country after Donald Trump's election. Hear me out. This is the crazy part. The only thing that's happening in the Supreme Court is whether or not they can bar children from getting transgender, not adults. If you're an adult and you want to do what all that stuff, construction, whatever, have at it. But these people who have now decided because kids can't get it, they're going to move to Canada, we applaud you. Holla, holla, pop your collar. Peace out, homie. Deuces. Whatever it is the kids are saying. Back at you. I don't know. What are the kids saying when they just put the fries in the bag? That's a new one I've learned. Just put the fries in the bag. I hear the kids are saying that. Let's get to another check of your traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Have you ever heard that one, Mark? Put the fries in the bag.
Put the fries in the bag.
Put the fries. Just put the fries in the bag. It's now
keep moving on here.
Yeah, it's just a euphemism for just put the fries in the bag. Let me get out of here.
Yeah, I'm in a hurry here. Let's go. I don't have all the time to chit chat.
These kids are horrible.
Yeah. Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you are heading into downtown Hartford right now, this traffic report is being brought to you by the Connecticut Prevention Network. And if you're southbound 91 coming into Hartford, you're going to see delays from exit 37 down to exit 35 A and B. Again, 33 down to 32 A and B. Another slowdown by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Northbound 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound delays. 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow getting over the Bissell Bridge heading into South Windsor. 2 eastbound Suquay, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge, and again from 22 in Berlin up to 24 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84 is slowing from the 691 interchange. It's sluggish right up to exit 25 in Waterbury. A little slow again at the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound slowing on the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury tight from by exit 5 on the eastbound side of 84. Southbound on the Parkway, we have a crash in New Haven between 60 and 59. It's right in the area of the West Rock Tunnel. The left lane is shut down there. Also a crash in Norwich, 395 southbound between 14 and 13. The right lane shut down there. And in East Granby, Route 187 is shut down at South Main Street and Hatchet Hill Road with a tractor-trailer fuel spill, so that will be shut down until further notice. This holiday season, the Connecticut Prevention Network reminds you that buzz driving is drunk driving. If you are drinking, we encourage you to use rideshare service or designated driver to keep you and others safe on the road this holiday season. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, periods of rain through early this evening, then some drizzle late tonight with areas of fog forming, the low down to 38. Then spotty drizzle early on Tuesday morning. Otherwise, those low clouds and fog linger, the high 45. Wednesday, windy and warmer with rain and a thunderstorm. Some of that rain going to be heavy at times. Could lead to some flooding in low-lying and poor drainage areas. The high up to 62. The south winds at 15 to 25. Then Wednesday night, heavy rain ending in the evening. Otherwise clearing and windy. The low down to 35. Thursday, partly sunny, windy and cooler. The high 42 will feel like it's in the 30s at best. Then Friday, plenty of sunshine, the high 38. Mostly sunny Saturday, the high of 39. Lots of rain out there. Be cautious as you're driving home or wherever you're headed tonight. Right now, it's 46 in Danbury, 43 in Waterbury, 45 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dental emergency? There's one place you can go that is always prepared. Columbia Dental in Manchester. Your dental emergency room throughout the state. 1 day, same day, 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
It's a win-win-win.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
This holiday season, save $30 on the GTA 26 handheld garden pruner. Now just $149.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Offer valid for a limited time. Only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Why stay up late? Get your news early with Fox 61 News at 10 or watch anytime on demand with Fox 61 Plus.
Breaking news from your community
And weather updates to help you plan ahead.
Watch live or on your schedule on Fox 61 Plus. Stay informed anywhere, anytime.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station. Streaming live or on demand on Fox 61 Plus.
The success you've had in life matters. The extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, and get ready to succeed again. University of Maryland Global Campus keeps your educational goals attainable with no-cost digital materials, replacing textbooks in most courses, affordable $15 million in scholarship opportunities available each year. Find out if you qualify. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Can't get to a WTIC holiday store? Donate from your phone. Text WTIC to 31333.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Before we get to our guest, which is Mondays with McGreevy, Rob McGreevy, over at the Daily Caller, I want to make sure I give a shout out. Shepherd24 is in the chat room, and he says, my dad listens to you on 1080, told me to check you out, found you on Rumble. Worth it. Keep fighting a good fight. Thank you, Shepherd, and please tell your dad thank you. And also I want to give a shout out to Susan K., who says she listens to the 5 o'clock Focus and listens to the show every day with her headphones on, so the office cannot know she's listening. Good on you. Don't be a rabble-rouser. Don't rock the boat. But she listens every day. She says she can't call in, but she loves the show. Thank you, Susan K. Much appreciated. And to all of you who listen to the show, I appreciate you. Spread the word. I want to turn this show into the number one thing happening in afternoons, if not across Connecticut. And I promise you I will work hard for you to make this show worth tuning into all the time. With the good help of my friend Rob McGreevy of the Daily Caller, who's here on Mondays. That's why we have Mondays with McGreevy. He's got a great article. Go to dailycaller.com to look it up. What is Rob, two things. First, what is the name of the article today? And I apologize for not having it ready.
It's okay. Do you want to talk about the autism thing?
Yes, the autism, right. They talk about the Robert Kennedy Jr. conversation that Kristen Welker of Meet the Press and Donald Trump had.
Right. So it's titled Something's Wrong. Trump says RFK Jr. will check for potential links between childhood vaccines and autism.
Yeah, and I have some clips from that we'll play throughout our interview. The second thing I want you to do is, can you send me an 8x10 glossy or something electronically? Because, the show is now visual, and I want people to at least see what you look like and sort of like, on the phone with, you know what I mean? Sort of give you some props, you know what I mean? Can you do that?
Sure.
All right. Much appreciated.
I'll have to dig something up, but I will find something for you.
Not a problem. Okay, so let's talk about this, because this was one of the most talked about portions of the interview, I think, which was an hour-long interview. They only played a portion of it on Meet the Press, but it's an hour and 17 minutes long, I believe.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah, and one particular part was the conversation about vaccines and autism and what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to do if and when he becomes the head of Secretary of Health and Human Services. What was the premise of your article there? Because I think you and I are on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, and you know, I found it less interesting. I find RFK's vaccine claims, which have been varying throughout the years, less interesting than the fact that Donald Trump is open to any of them, because I think it sort of signals a paradigm shift in the way that our elected leaders are starting to think about public health.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, Kristen Welker kind of pressed him on nominating RFK,
Mm-hmm.
and she was the one that kind of immediately brought up vaccines and autism. And she asked him that whether or not he'd like to see childhood vaccinations eliminated. I think Trump was really he's coming into his own as a politician, because he really handled it very politically. She said, would you like to see them eliminated? And he said, if they're dangerous for the children. And then he said, when you look at some of the problems that's going on in our country with disease and sickness, something's wrong. And Welker goes, are you talking about autism? And then he cited the skyrocketing rates of autism. 25 years ago, autism in children, it was 1 out of 100,000 children. Today, it's 1 out of 100.
Let's play that. Let's play that piece of the audio.
Let me ask you about RFK Jr. He has obviously talked about his skepticism of vaccines. He's expressed opposition to childhood vaccines. Do you want to see childhood vaccines eliminated?
If they're dangerous for the children. Look.
So possibly?
When you look at some of the problems, when you look at what's going on with disease and sickness in our country, something's wrong.
Are you talking about autism?
Well, if you take a look at autism, go back 25 years, autism was almost non-existent. It was, 1 out of 100,000, and now it's close to 1 out of 100.
Well,
I mean, what's happening?
And it again, you and I, who are looking at this maybe from a biased point of view, but not so much, because I believe that what's so wrong with asking the question or investigating the science that would go from, just 25 years ago, okay? 25 years ago, we go from 1 in 100,000 to 1 in 100, that someone wouldn't say, this is something we need to investigate vigorously.
Right. Well, and I thought that was such a brilliant part of how Trump handled this, is because there are sort of kooky people in both parties. The anti-vaccination campaign started on the left with the hippies.
It did?
Way before COVID. So there are some crazy people on both sides who are saying all vaccines are bad. And I don't think Robert F. Kennedy is saying that. And Trump is clearly not saying that. Later on in the interview, Trump touted the polio vaccine and said it saved lives.
Too.
And I think, and I think sort of it takes away some ammo from the Kennedy detractors and who are now de facto coming at Trump for nominating Kennedy, saying, oh, well, measles are going to come back. That was a big left-wing talking point. Jake Tapper and Amy Klobuchar saying, I guess they're leading with measles coming back. Well, I don't think they're saying they don't want people to get vaccinated for measles. They're saying if there is an issue here, we should be able to look at it. And it takes the teeth out of some of these crazier people to say, because when you just immediately censor the information and you say, no, we're not talking about that at all, we're not going to look into that at all, then you get people going, well, why are we not even allowed to look at it? And that's going to push people further into corners of being anti-science. So I've been sort of covering this beat now and focusing more on the health aspect. And a lot of the people I talk to are scientists and doctors are encouraged. They say Trump's going to bring back science and bring back actually looking at research and not just following ideology and dogma.
It's so great you bring that up. First, let me play Kristen Welker's response to that, right? Because, again, here's the crazy part of what you're talking about is Donald Trump is not saying what RFK Jr. is going to do. By any means, he's not saying he's going to go in there and screw the whole thing up. I have that audio as well. But Kristen Welker does the one thing that for me as a journalist, is unfathomable for you to do. And that is defend the pharmaceutical companies or the scientists without at least being curious. Here's what she said immediately after Trump said that.
Going back 25 years, studies showed that there is no link between vaccines and autism. And yet it sounds like you are open to the possibility of him looking
I'm
at
open to
getting
anything.
rid of them.
I think somebody has to find out. If you go back 25 years ago, you had very little autism. Now you have it. I mean,
Well, they say because they're better at identifying it.
1 in 100,000, and now it's 1 in 100. That's a pretty bad number.
Childhood vaccines.
I mean,
have
something is going on. I don't know if it's vaccines. Maybe it's chlorine in the water, right? You know, people are looking at a lot of different things.
You know, childhood vaccines.
I want them to look at everything.
Everything. So childhood vaccines have prevented about 4 million deaths around the world every year.
I think that's great.
Isn't that...
I'm all for it. I think it's great. Hey, look, I'm not against vaccines. The polio vaccine is the greatest thing. If somebody told me get rid of the polio vaccine, they're going to have to work real hard to convince me.
See, again, and I think to your point, Robert, was Donald Trump's advocacy for Robert F. Kennedy in this interview takes the teeth and takes sort of like that talking point that the press has. It completely eliminates it, because the only thing that he's saying is, look, why can't we ask questions? Are we supposed to just take the science at their word? And with everything that happened in COVID, which again is just 3 years ago, are we really going to take the medical industry at its word? We just had a report come out that says that everything they told us about the vaccine, how we were supposed to behave, from closing down the schools to 6 feet of distance from each other and putting on masks, all bubkiss, all of it. And Kristen Welker's going, but the scientists say, and I'm going, it's insane to watch it.
You know, and there's such a deep anti-curiosity from the left-wing media and people who call themselves journalists surrounding this subject, and they've really shut down all dissent, all debate, and it's really anti-democratic to say, well, this science is settled. I mean, the very nature of science is that it's never settled, is that there's always research. The only thing we can really do in science is hypothesize. I mean, there are things that we've considered settled science for a long time that today are no longer that. And you know, I talk to a lot of these sort of doctors, health professionals, healthcare professionals, and a lot of them are really encouraged that the tide is kind of turning and people are allowed to ask questions again, because for a while there, you could lose your career for even suggesting that the orthodoxy was incorrect.
I think that's, you know, again, there are two phenomenal things that are happening here. By the way, if you're just joining us, we're on with Rob McGreevey of the Daily Caller for Mondays with McGreevey. What I'm noticing here is that two things are happening right at this moment. Donald Trump questioning the orthodoxy and the credibility of the news media being tattered, right? So it's almost a perfect storm that gives people, and again, this past election, what did it do? All of the things that exposed Democrats, or the left for that matter, that lost them the election, now more and more people are joining that fold that says, you know, Democrats became so establishment, right? We're talking about a group of people who in the 60s were, you know, power to the people, man, you know, buck the system, man. Yeah, they were the rebels. And all of a sudden, they went from, you know, I always bring up this point. We had Public Enemy, who was doing a song in 1989 called Fight the Power. Now Chuck D is on television and podcasts saying reinforce or hype the power, right? We need more power in government. And I'm going, this guy was 20, 30 years ago pushing back against the power elite. Now he's a part of them. The guy from Rage Against the Machine was telling people to get their COVID vaccine. Like, are you kidding me? That was, you know what? That to me was the biggest sort of like, think about a piano falling on your head. When Rage Against the Machine puts out a note that says you can't come to their concert unless you actually conform to the machine. It's like, what? I mean, The Onion couldn't write a better headline. Exactly. And it was, and again, how can you give these guys any credibility thereafter? Do you have anything that you're working on? I mean, I guess you're going to follow this much further, I guess, in this space. Are you going to? Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm very interested in just all the Kennedy stuff, because I don't even think vaccines are the most interesting thing with him. I think it's the food lobby and Big Ag and the FDA. I think all of that stuff is going to go obviously, granted, I'm working on a piece now about his confirmation hearing. We'll see how that goes. But if he gets in, and if some of the other nominees get in at the FDA, Marty McCary, there's some real change coming on the horizon in those areas. And
you can see in Wall Street, big pharma stocks have not recovered since the announcement that RFK was going to be the HHS secretary.
Yeah.
Big Ag, all these companies, they're shaking in their boots. I think it's interesting, even outside of a sort of ideological standpoint, how are those companies going to reform if they can't essentially poison people? What is going to be their next venture? I think that's all stuff I'm going to have my eye on. So
okay,
if people are interested, they can find me at Daily Caller and keep up with that.
Yeah, please. Follow Rob McGreevy at the Daily Caller. You can find him at Robert McGreevy, of course, in the Daily Caller. We call him Rob here for Mondays with McGreevy. By the way, Rob, do you know I found out? It's crazy because, and thank you, by the way, I got to applaud you. Thank you for giving me props on the Kamala Harris deal that I knew months ago that the whole thing was a boondoggle from the beginning. Thank you for giving me my props. You gave me my flowers and sent me a text and said, maybe you were right about this thing. But guess what?
You're right, Reese.
I want to say this to you, Rob. Do you know I figured out why NBC News is reporting that Joe Biden was mulling over the Hunter Biden pardon in June? I have found out why they were thinking about it in June and not over the weekend, as Corinne Jean-Pierre explains. Do you know that?
Tell me.
This is crazy. John Favreau of Pod Save America, he said this on his podcast on the 8th of November after the election. Listen.
And then after the debate, the Biden people told us that the polls were fine. And Biden was still the strongest candidate. They were privately telling reporters at the time that Kamala Harris couldn't win. So they were shivving Kamala Harris to reporters while they told everyone else, not a time for an open process, and his vice president can't win, so he's the strongest candidate. Then we find out, when the Biden campaign becomes the Harris campaign, that the Biden campaign's own internal polling, at the time when they were telling us he was the strongest candidate, showed that Donald Trump was going to win 400 electoral votes. That's what their own internal polling said.
They found that out before the debate. Donald Trump was going to lose by 400 elections. So in other words, they were already shivving, as John Favreau says, saying that Kamala can't win, and they already knew that Joe Biden wasn't going to win. That's why he was mulling over it, according to NBC News, in June. There's your connection. Is that wild?
Let me ask you this.
Real quick.
It is wild. Let me ask you this real quick, because some of the reporting has been that Biden basically shoehorned Kamala in, and that Obama and Pelosi, the other party leaders, didn't want Kamala. They wanted an open primary. That's kind of the scuttlebutt. But before the debate, before Biden collapsed, before he fell apart, they still knew that they had the 400 electoral, that potentially Donald Trump was getting 400 electoral votes.
You know what? Hold on for me. Hold on. Look, I got to go to traffic real quick. Hold on real quick. Let's go to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark, I'm sorry about that.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And, well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of I-91, look for delays from exit 36 and 35. Again, 33 down to 32 A and B. And again, down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up
thank you.
just after 56 out to 46 Sisson Avenue. Eastbound 84 locked up. 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow, getting over the Bissell Bridge over to exit 4 in South Windsor. 2 westbound tight in East Hartford, approaching 4 to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound Middletown, tight Harbor Park to the Aragodi Bridge. Again, 9 northbound slowing from 32 in Berlin up to exit 34 in New Britain. Now, if you're on the westbound side of 84, you got delays from the 691 interchange up to exit 25 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound slowing as you approach the Mixed Master. Again, some slow traffic from 26 down to the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound Danbury slowing 3 to 5. Again, some slow traffic getting by exit 9 in Newtown. If you're traveling southbound in the Wilbur Cross Parkway, look out for an accident between 60 and 59. Left lane block delays back to 62 behind that. Southbound 91 slowing from 7 in New Haven into the 95 interchange. 95 southbound tight, 46 down to 44 in New Haven. And look out for a crash, 395 southbound in Norwich between 14 and 13, right lane shut down there. Road closure in East Granby, Route 187, and shut down between South Main Street and Hatchie Hill Road because of a tractor trailer fuel spill reported there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Plenty of clouds and some rain on our Monday afternoon. The high of 50. It'll be overcast with areas of fog tonight. Periods of rain early this evening, then some drizzle late. The low down to 38. Tuesday, spotty drizzle early in the morning. Otherwise, the low clouds and fog linger with the high of 45. Wednesday, rain and a thunderstorm. Some of it heavy later in the day. Could be some flooding in the low-lying and poor drainage areas. The high of 60. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
44 degrees with rain in Hartford at 4:30. I'm John Silva. The NYPD has named a person of interest in the shooting death of an insurance company executive. Luigi Mangione was wanted for questioning in the shooting death of Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO. Police say a person matching Mangione's description was picked up on an unrelated charge today in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Daniel Penny has been acquitted of charges of criminally negligent homicide. Ex-Marine charged with putting a fatal chokehold on an unruly New York subway passenger last year. Investigation continues in Milford after a body was discovered in a burning car over the weekend. The find made Saturday night in a wooded area. Person's name has not yet been released, nor has an exact cause of death been given. December 18th, that's the deadline to ensure holiday cards will make it to their intended destination in time for the holidays. That from the Postal Service's Amy Gibbs today. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is open to the potential deployment of Western troops in Ukraine to guarantee the country's security as part of a broad effort to end the nearly 3-year war with Russia. And Norwalk firefighters came to Santa's rescue this weekend. Around 6:30 Saturday night, they went to a building on Washington Street where a person dressed as Mr. Claus was stuck on the side of a building about 60 feet off the ground. Santa was rappelling down the 13-story building as part of the Norwalk holiday extravaganza. Part of his suit became entangled in the rigging and he became stuck. Firefighters were able to get Santa into the building and to safety through a window on the 6th floor. On Wall Street, the Dow finished down 240 points today. The Nasdaq lost 123, and the S&P was down 37. Knicks try to bounce back from a dud Saturday night when they take on the Raptors in Toronto tonight. NHL, the Rangers at the Garden take on the Blackhawks. Monday Night Football sees the Bengals in Dallas to face the Cowboys. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making
And
investment
then
decisions.
after the
We know
debate,
you're uncertain
Biden
about
people
psychics.
told us that the polls were fine.
Is 1 minute
And
Hillary
Biden was still
found
the
on a
strongest
forum?
candidate. They
Legit?
were privately telling
Your
reporters
one
at the
true
time.
love is
Me! That's why California psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying when it's
Yeah,
home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Can't get to a WTIC holiday store? Donate from your phone. Text WTIC to 31333.
And you can join Pastor Will tomorrow. I'll tell you about that in a little bit, to stand by. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. I didn't want to cut Rob McGreevy off, but he was making a point, and I wanted to make sure that you guys got a chance to hear it. So, Rob, say what was your question again, or your statement again?
Yeah. So I have a question for you, because you brilliantly saw this before I think a lot of people, that the Democrats are basically punting on 2024 with Kamala.
Right.
But as unconfirmed reporting, but rumors have been around that Obama, Pelosi, the party leaders, they wanted Biden out, and they didn't want Kamala in. They wanted an open primary.
Correct.
And then Biden kind of gave them one last stab in the back and said, you want me out, I'm giving you Kamala, and made the move by himself to announce her as the candidate.
Yes.
My question is, they knew in June that even though Joe Biden was this incumbent that everybody supposedly loved on the left, that he had no chance of winning. Donald Trump was looking at a 400 electoral vote landslide.
Right.
Did they just say, we're punting on 24 no matter what, we're going to get Biden off the slate, and it's Project 2028? Was that the plan from the get, or did that only come into fruition once they had Kamala?
I think that it came once they had Kamala. In fact, Quinton, I think his name, campaign manager for Kamala Harris, his name is Quinton, I want to say his last name begins with an F. In fact, my Sunday show, I taped that, and I even got his audio. I was going to try to find it, but I didn't think you'd bring him up. He is at some conference talking about it, and he says, we only had 107 days, and when we got Kamala Harris as the candidate, the strongest constituency for Democrats are black women. We could not dump Kamala Harris with that kind of constituency, he says. Right. So, again, with black, and that was something I said before. I said Kamala Harris becomes ipso facto the heir apparent to the Biden administration. He throws them a curveball. You got to take Kamala. The Democrat Party has pretty much tethered itself to identity politics. All of the other people that they wanted, Barack Obama wanted Mark Kelly. You have Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, Jay Pritzker. All of these people are all white. Kamala Harris is the only person of color there, with the exception of Josh Shapiro, who's Jewish, but she's a black woman, allegedly. But they, once they tethered themselves to her, they knew. And Quinton says it at the conference. I have the audio. I'll play it later. But he says, black women are the largest constituency group. They would have been angry had we dumped Kamala. They knew they were stuck, and so did Biden.
Interesting. I mean, I feel like it's almost not giving black women enough credit.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, he did it twice. Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris. The whole reason why they got their jobs and their positions were because they were black women. You tether yourselves to DEI, you die by it.
You live by DEI, you die by DEI.
Interesting, they all have the same letters. Thank you, Rob. Let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center.
All right, thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, you've got delays from exit 36 to 35, again 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. Another bump down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Looks real good. Northbound 91, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing just after 56, right out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow now as you move into South Windsor, Bissell Bridge out to exit 4. If you are traveling on the westbound side of 84, Route 2, I should say the westbound side of Route 2, 284, a little tight there. 2 eastbound's a little slow getting by exit 5C to 5D on the Glastonbury East Hartford line. 3 northbound slowing now from the Glastonbury exit 13A up to 13B and C to the Route 2 ramps. Heading into Middletown, 9 northbound slowing at Harbor Park. 9 northbound again tied up approaching exit 31 to 34 in New Britain. If you're traveling on the westbound side of 84 in Cheshire, sluggish stop and go from the 691 interchange into the Mixmaster. Heading into Danbury, you got some slow traffic, 84 eastbound from 3 to 5 again, getting by exit 9 in Newtown. Traveling southbound on the Parkway, we had an accident between 60 and 59 in the left lane. Looks like that's clear now, but you got delays from 62 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 91 southbound delays 8 into the 95 interchange. 95 southbound, you're slowing 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture. Seeking stress-free holiday shopping? When you holiday the Bob's way, you can snag incredible values on fabulous festive finds for every room and great gifts at every budget. So stop by your local store or visit mybobs.com and see how much you can save when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture.
WTIC weather.
Out being upstaged.
As we head through tonight, overcast with some areas of fog, but periods of rain early this evening, then some drizzle late. The low down to 38. Now we'll get spotty drizzle on our Tuesday morning. Otherwise, the low clouds and fog linger with a high of 45. Windy and warmer Wednesday, rain and a thunderstorm. Some of that rain could be heavy later in the day, and there could be some flooding in the low-lying and poor drainage areas. The high of 62. The south winds kicking up to 15 to 25 miles an hour. They continue Wednesday night into Thursday, partly sunny, windy, and colder Thursday. The high 42 will feel like it's well done in the 30s with those gusty west-southwest winds. Plenty of sun, less windy, but chilly on Friday. The high 38. Mostly sunny and chilly Saturday with the high of 39. Right now, Bristol at 42. It's 45 in New London, also 45 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Count on Steel for Christmas cleanup made easy with the SEA 20 battery-powered handheld vacuum. Now just $99.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Valid offer for a limited time, only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra for Tchaikovsky and Bonds December 13th through the 15th at the Bushnell. Experience the artistry of Clayton Stevenson, the 2024-25 Joyce C. Willis Artist in Residence, performing Tchaikovsky's dazzling piano concerto. Witness the electrifying talent of Jonathan Taylor Rush, a Connecticut native and acclaimed conductor, as he leads the orchestra in an unforgettable evening of music. Tickets start as low as $10 for students. Call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a health.
Oh, man.
If appropriate.
Thanks, sir.
See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's
I haven't
sexual
asked you
health
how you're
at
doing
HIMSS.
today.
In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
Your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices. Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio, and here's that audio clip I was just talking about. If you don't listen to the Sunday show, go back and check it out. It airs simultaneously with WTIC. So if you have the Odyssey app, you can get it with commercials. If not, you can go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com on Sunday, and you can hear it at the same time that it airs. And, of course, on Reese on the radio, it's commercial-free if you're interested. But listen to the show in either place, nonetheless. If you're in your car, you can't. But this is, his name is Quentin Folks, to my conversation with Rob McGreevy. Here's what Quentin Folks said just this past weekend.
I know people don't like that time frame, that number, but to open up a Democratic primary, you would have had black women, who were the strongest voting bloc for Kamala Harris, be highly upset if it was not Kamala Harris. You would have had someone starting with zero infrastructure. I hear your concern, and I'm not saying that primaries are not important and open primaries are important.
So, again, they all knew that that was the argument, that someone had asked them why not have an open primary. But they couldn't. African-American women would have grilled them if they had to. If they had to, I should say, have an open primary and get rid of Kamala Harris. They did. We're not going to upset that apple cart, which I told you. They couldn't let her go. 860-522-WTIC. And Chris is in Wethersfield. How you doing, Chris?
Good, Reese. How are you today? Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure, sir. What's up?
Thinking about the ridiculousness of the Hunter Biden pardon, but then I saw Trump today going to pardon the January 6th. So, Reese, let me just throw something weird out.
Okay.
Marilyn Manson, not Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Mosby.
Manson, right? Chuck Manson had a bunch of followers that killed people. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, Charles Manson. Okay, I thought you were talking about Marilyn. Marilyn Mosby was you were talking about because she wants a pardon too.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Charles Manson, he has a bunch of followers that get caught, killing a bunch of people and stuff like that. Now, their defense in the court was that they were overtaken by the aura of Mr. Manson, and that's why they carried out their deeds.
Right.
When I'm thinking about the January 6th, a lot of the people in the January 6th, when they came in and pleaded guilty and wanted to get it over with, a lot of them had said the same thing. Look, I was
swept up in the moment,
inundated, or I was overtaken by the thought of President Trump and all of this stuff. Now, same defense, right? Now, what would happen if Chuck Manson became president of the United States? Does Chuck Manson, I'm serious here, Reese, I'm serious. Try to be.
No. I just, first of all, pardon me for laughing at the idea of Charles Manson becoming president of the United States. Nothing ridiculous about that. But okay, I get your point. I get your point.
Yeah.
So I'm okay.
Does he have the right?
No.
Does he have the right to pardon his followers?
Yes. Now, of course he would if something ridiculous like that was to happen, considering the current state that we're in. But hear me out. If there is somebody who says that does not take accountability, now again, there has been no pardon of any January 6 participants yet, right? There haven't been.
Right.
So we can litigate who gets pardoned after the fact, right? Because then you can make your case and say, this person says that they were swept up in a moment. But remember, from the point of view you're looking at this, Chris, you're saying that you believe that Donald Trump ginned up the behavior at the Capitol. And I would contest that that's not true, because saying peacefully and patriotically and then sending out a tweet that was read, and I have the video of it, of the QAnon shaman reading the tweet saying that we are the party of law enforcement, do not hurt our men and women in uniform. So we have a president who have two instances that we have on tape where the president has never incited anyone, right? So we can't say, right. He not only says to peacefully and patriotically, but when the violence starts, he then tells them to stop. So we don't have anybody who can use the argument that they were ginned up by Donald Trump's rhetoric, because his rhetoric was that the opposite of the actions took place. So I don't know who he pardons. If someone says that they were ginned up by the rhetoric of Donald Trump and his rhetoric is counter to what they did, no, they shouldn't get a pardon. But I can't say that until the pardons come out. Okay?
Dude, I got your point.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
You are right on point.
I only want the evidence to support your claims. We're jumping ahead of that, so that when we actually look at it, because the press they will look at every person who's pardoned. They will go through everything in which they were charged with or what they've said in their testimony. And if true indeed, if we find one of those people who says, I was, caught up in the moment of Donald Trump's rhetoric, then I would say that person clearly did not deserve a pardon.
But if there were people there actually like, hey, bro, we're going anyway. We don't care because this is what we do.
They should not receive a pardon if their intent was to go in there and bust up windows and bust up people. Yes, absolutely not. And it should be done. I believe that it should be done. If there's a January 6th pardon for anyone, I believe that it should not be a sweeping pardon of individuals. It should be precise, and I think it should be thoughtful.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Because I thought it was going to be like a blanket pardon for everybody.
I don't think so.
Arrested. Okay. Hey, one before I'll let's get other people on. Hey, that last guest you had on talking about the JFK and vaccines and everything. That was a great guest. I'm really glad you had him on. I liked it how when the woman who was talking to Trump about, hey, polio vaccines, are we going to get rid of polio? And he's like, no, tuberculosis. I don't think tuberculosis is going to go away, okay?
I think that Kristen Welker is interviewing Donald Trump from the sort of faculty lounge of college dorms and in NBC or MSNBC studios. She's not asking questions that regular Americans would ask. She's trying to get a soundbite for those talking points, and I think Donald Trump did well. So I think that was good. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, sir.
Thanks, Reese.
You got it, sir. Let's go to Mike in Plainville. How we doing, buddy?
I'm telling you, we need to forget about Hunter Biden. I know you got his father pardon him. Okay, let's move on. may run into him getting busted down the road at the airport for drugs or something, but you know what?
Quite possible.
We got to move on. We got so many things to take care of in this country. My God.
Oh, I think we're going to get to them. But, you know, the news cycle is the news cycle, Mike. And unfortunately, like I said, the whole thing, I literally sat back on that piece of audio of John Favreau in which Joe Biden was mulling over the pardon. Because, again, the timeline makes sense. They knew back in June, before the debate, that he was going to lose. Donald Trump was going to get 400 electoral college votes. It makes sense.
Yeah,
the stories line up.
They knew.
Yeah, of course they did. And look, I was the one who was preaching that on this network from the moment I got here back in mid-July. Was I not the person saying, I don't know what you folks are talking about. This is a done deal. And people said, I don't know. I hope you're right, Reese. I hope you're right. I was like, okay. I'm like, you don't have to believe me. I knew this was a landslide, and it turned out to be exactly what I said it was going to be. Even the fact that again, what did I also say? This wasn't a serious campaign. The whole objective was to get her through because the most important candidates are the people who are now running. We got Gavin Newsom at the southern border. Donald Trump hasn't even taken office yet, and Gavin Newsom's already campaigning.
You can kind of sense the desperation already.
Oh, yeah. Listen to me, this loss was colossal for them. They've got 4 years to gain ground.
He's a fool. This guy from California, he's just I can't use the adjectives I'd love to on the radio.
I got you. Hey, listen,
guy.
everybody here knows this guy is full of crap. And again, Gavin Newsom is I told everybody that the Democrat Party, if they lose, they're going to be campaigning a day before the election. They are campaigning now. Donald Trump hasn't had day one in office, and Gavin Newsom's at the southern border campaigning against Donald Trump. He's not even going to be the candidate.
Can you tell me, to change the subject?
Right, real quick.
Okay, for 3 weeks now, we've had drones the size of SUVs flying over New Jersey.
Still working on it.
12, 20, 30. And then they said there's no threat to the public. Well, there are. They're probably an intelligence agency. It could be any DIA, NSA. It could be anybody.
You know what? I'll talk about this in the next hour. I will tell you what my theory is about this, and it's interesting. But I'll tell somebody about it in the next one. Thank you, man. Let me go to EJ, who's in New Haven. What's going on, EJ?
Hey, what's up, Ed? So I'm just frustrated with the fact that these guys, these senators, Republican senators, can't get together and support Trump. I'm going right for Pete Hegseth.
Right.
You know what I mean? We supported a lot of the Republicans voted for, what was it, Lloyd Austin? And it's just frustrating. Like, they should just be on board.
You know what's interesting about what you're talking about, EJ? And again, it's weird how Republicans can sign legislation. Like, what did Joe Biden get passed? We got the infrastructure bill through the help of Republicans, right? So they seem to be on board, or they seem to be a sense of bipartisanship when it comes to Democrats when they're in the White House to get bills passed that pay for billions, if not trillions of dollars. They seem to be on board. But then we get the White House, we get Congress, and we get the Senate, and Democrats are standing around playing holdout. For what? And then guess what? It's always about the same thing, and this is the truth. I know this about every politician in there, or at least not. I know this about the politicians who are giving us a hard way to go. The only reason why they're holding out on the Pete Hegseth thing, or maybe even the what do you call it, the DOGE Department of Government Oversight, Department of Oversight, or whatever it is called. Anyway, DOGE. But the reason why they're holding out is because they want kickbacks. Just like any other typical politician. They don't even pay attention to the writing on the wall. They want something for their vote. And they think that they've got, look, yes, you know, Donald Trump, you do have a mandate. You do have the Republican majority. But that means that I'm not going to get anything. My vote has no value. So because I'm not going to just give it up willy-nilly, you got to give me something. So they think they're in a bargaining position with the president. And if I'm Donald Trump, I would just simply go out there in public and announce every person on a holdout for some kickback and tell the American people we're primarying that son of a gun in 2 years. and we're going to get somebody in who's going to get your legislation passed so we make America great again. I would put them out every day. I would tell them, oh, you want to hold out on me? No problem. We'll leave it to the American people in your district and see whether or not they'll force you to vote with us. That's all.
There's a lady, one of the ladies in Congress did that. I forgot what her name, but
Murkowski.
Ernst or something. Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Jody Ernst. Jody Ernst is one of those as well.
Yeah. And it just seems like, you're kidding me right now. You can't be united. But it seems to me the Democrats are, for the most part.
Yeah. Well, the Democrats will
Democrats
align. Isn't that crazy? The Democrats will align themselves, which, of course, was their undoing, right? Because, of course, they stood for every radical thing in the book. And now that we've had a course correction, we can't even get Republicans to just join the ranks and say, look, we have a mandate. The president won. He assisted a lot of you in getting news. We had a lot of turnovers, right? We had a lot of districts turn over. They got you into power. Why not build on that coalition of the American people? Why give him gridlock? It's like it makes no sense. But you know what? They should be primaried. They should be told. They should be held accountable for holding up his agenda. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, EJ. I appreciate the call. We'll take a break. We'll come back to the rest of your calls as well. We've got the 5 o'clock focus coming in. But because we are near, I got a minute in, I might as well give it in early because the calls are online. Maybe they can opine about this as well. So I don't want anybody to miss an opportunity. So the 5 o'clock focus is really simple. So recently, I was talking to my wife, and the boy, you've all met him, Ellis, told us that he had a Corona beer. And I was immediately taken back. Now, again, as you know, I don't drink. I've been sober for a little more than 5 years. My wife's sober for 7. Not that we have a problem with alcohol. We don't hate alcohol. We don't, again, it's not like it's our enemy or anything. We just don't drink. But I found that interesting that more and more parents are allowing their teenagers to drink at age 17, 18. It's casual. At dinner, special occasions, it's usually just wine or beer. The 5 o'clock focus today, I want your stance on this. Have you dealt with this? Have you allowed your kids to drink in the house? Do you forbid it? Do you think that not having your kids allowed to drink, here and there, has it caused other problems with alcohol? What's your stance on allowing teenagers to drink? Good, bad, indifferent, no, casual? Tell me. I'd like to know. 860-522-WTIC. Now, let's get another check of our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. This traffic report is being brought to you by Whittlesey. And if you're heading 91 southbound into Hartford, you'll see some delays, 36 down to 35 in Windsor. Again, from 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. More delays from 27 down to 26 in Wethersfield. Another bump as you move down by the Route 9 interchange in Cromwell, and you'll see delays again approaching 19 to exit 18 in Meriden. Now, on the northbound side, 91, that still looks good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slows from 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. If you're traveling 2 eastbound, you'll lose a little speed by 5C in East Hartford. 2 westbound slows, exit 4 to the 84 West merge. Heading into Middletown, 9 southbound a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound slowing in Berlin. 32 up to 34 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84 tied up in Cheshire approaching exit 26. Pretty much sluggish right up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Cheshire slowing between 26 and the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound Danbury delays 3 to 5. Again, 84 eastbound slowing 8 to 9 in Newtown. If you're traveling southbound 91, you've got delays from 8 down in toward the 95 interchange. And 95 southbound, you're slowing from 46 to 43 in West Haven. Whittlesey wants your business to succeed. Whittlesey is more than an accounting firm. They're advocates for your business, delivering a robust set of solutions, including audit, tax, technology, cybersecurity, and advisory services. Learn more at WAdvising.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Cloudy with some rain on our Monday afternoon, the high of 50. Then areas of fog tonight, periods of rain during the evening, then some drizzle late, the low down to 38. Spotty drizzle early Tuesday morning. Otherwise, those low clouds and fog linger for us, the high 45. On Wednesday, we'll get rain and a thunderstorm. Some of it will be heavy later in the day. Could lead to some flooding in the low-lying and poor drainage areas, the high of 60 Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
5 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. He is a person of interest for now. The man arrested in Pennsylvania being questioned in the ambush fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. More from correspondent Matt Piper.
The person of interest is 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, police say, spotted by someone who recognized him in the city of Altoona in Pennsylvania. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport.
Police say Mangione was born and raised in Maryland, has ties to San Francisco, and has a last known address in Honolulu. Matt Piper, CBS News, New York.
Daniel Penny has been found not guilty of criminally negligent homicide in the choking death of a fellow subway rider who was agitated and threatening others last year.
In the courtroom when that verdict was read, there was an extremely loud reaction. I can't remember another trial I've covered where there was such a reaction. Typically, the judge reminds people to keep things to themselves and stay quiet, but there was no such reminder. And when the foreperson was asked what the verdict was, she paused a moment and said, "Not guilty." Thunderous, loud applause.
At CBS New York's Alice Gaynor, the father of the victim, Jordan Neely, called the system rigged. The Social Security Fairness Act, co-sponsored by Senator Chris Murphy, passed the House but has yet to come up for a vote in the upper chamber. The state teachers union and others are pushing for a vote that is, before the bill dies at the end of the year. The plan would allow full Social Security benefits for public employees like teachers who also earn a public pension. Those benefits are currently limited by rules including the windfall elimination provision. Jocelyn Delancey is vice president of the Connecticut Education Association.
The windfall elimination provision is for teachers and other employees, municipal workers, who have paid into Social Security in some context. Then they get penalized because they're collecting a municipal pension.
Now, the pending bill would eliminate that provision. The CEA is joining a rally of public sector workers Wednesday in Washington. Tens of thousands of Syrians are returning home after the Assad regime fell over the weekend. The BBC's Alina Sinjab is one of those returning to Damascus.
Since I left, I never felt I belonged anywhere else, and I had lost hopes that I would go back home and live normally. This is a great moment for me to come feeling belonging again, being surrounded with my own people, see the joy among my own people.
Under Bashar al-Assad, Syria had chemical weapons, and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says that's concerned.
Through work that we're doing with other partners in the region, we are trying to make sure that those chemical weapons do not fall into the hands of anyone who would use them against civilians, against our partners in the region, or against us.
He was on CBS Mornings. On Saturday, tens of thousands of volunteers across the country will stop and lay wreaths at the graves of fallen heroes and other men and women who wore the uniform of the U.S. military. There are expected to be wreaths across America ceremonies in all 50 states, including Connecticut. Art Sladek is one of the volunteers, and is also a past commander of American Legion Post 133 in South Windsor.
Resting eternally in cemeteries here in Connecticut, cemeteries throughout the nation, and in foreign cemeteries throughout the world are men and women, fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, who gave their lives so that we can live in freedom and without fear.
Ceremony at the State Veterans Cemetery in Middletown takes place at noon on Saturday. On Wall Street, markets down today. The Dow lost 240 points. The NASDAQ down 123. S&P lost 37. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, it's the holidays.
1 minute.
All kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well,
said to you
if
earlier,
your
I was
sex
like, hey,
drive
how have
is
you been? I didn't even bother to
MIA,
ask you, how was
and
your
you
weekend?
just don't feel like the guy you
What happened?
Maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer.
Hey, how was
this
your
is Dale
weekend?
for
But you
Northeast
didn't
Men's
hear me.
Health. And if this sounds
Oh, no, I've been sick all weekend.
Oh, really?
This is the season for you.
Yeah, just trying to get over it.
Wow.
We're experts
Does
in
it
treating
feel
low T.
Chinese?
If you're like most guys,
Nah, just regular head cold type.
Results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity. Your energy will kick up. Your workouts, your sleep patterns will improve. and
That's
your
what-
sex drive will
that's
likely
what
heat
my
up as
wife's
well.
sister
So
says
call
to
us
me all the
and
time.
don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. You better be focused, Jay-Z. You better be focused. Anyway, 5 o'clock focus here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. It's horrible I have to wait until Wednesday before I get into so much stuff going on in the news. I got to talk about the suspect that they apprehended in was it Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, whatever? Okay, in the United Healthcare assassination. We got to talk about that. Of course, you've heard about it in the top of the hour. I told you ghost gun. I told you ghost gun, didn't I? Uh-huh. Yeah, you got
The real killer is out overseas already.
The real killer's already gone. Yeah.
He's overseas, on a whole nother mission.
Yeah. OJ notwithstanding. But this, what the person is, the suspect they grabbed. We'll get into all of that, of course, on Wednesday. Also, this week I'm going to be playing 6 to 8 Black Men by David Sedaris. If you're watching, you can see my David Sedaris book. Theft by Finding is sitting here. I love David Sedaris, and you will love this. His audio book, I'm going to play it on Friday, so stay tuned for that during the airing of Grievance Friday. It is one of my favorite Christmas stories ever. Most people have The Night Before Christmas. I have 6 to 8 Black Men. To each his own. We'll play that audio for you. Do not listen to it before I play it, because you won't enjoy it as much. So stay tuned for that, and don't forget the 5 o'clock focus today. If you've had a teenager at a certain age, some parents will allow their teenagers to drink. In fact, in Europe, children as young as 16 drink at the bar. Yeah, in Germany. So I know that we are in the United States are a little bit, kind of a little stuck up, as they say, a little stodgy about certain things. But did you ever experience that with a teenager when it came to drinking, sort of like, letting them have a beer at a certain age, like, before, 21? I know that is normal. I couldn't imagine my kids being allowed to have a drink at a young age. I know it's a rite of passage when your kid's like young and you give them a sip of beer, a la was it Clark Griswold and Rusty in the Vacation movie? He gives Rusty a sip of the beer. Remember that? I know it's a rite of passage, but I don't know. I have a particular opinion about it. We'll get to that with your phone calls. Now let's take a check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, do you have any particular opinions about that? Wait till your kids are old enough to drink.
I got a 16-year-old. We let him sip a little beer.
Okay.
Nothing heavy, or maybe I'll make a daiquiri.
Is it like
with
out of a glass, or
Bacardi
like
in it.
is it a glass, or is it like an 8-ounce cup? 8-ounce can or something like that. Like very limited.
Yeah, it's limited. I think if we teach him to drink responsibly in the home, that's kind of where my thought is. But we've told him many, many, many times, don't ever get into a car with somebody of one of your one of your friends, your classmates.
Yeah, be bold enough to say,
ever.
no, I'm not driving with you.
No, yeah, don't ever get. I said, I don't care where you are. You call us. We will come and get you. No questions asked.
See, I like
Just
that.
Do not get into a car with somebody who's been, drinking.
I'm going to tell you, when that initiative started maybe 30 years ago, the no questions asked thing, I thought that was the best thing to do with kids. And people and parents have lived by that, and it saved lives. I'll tell them that much. It saved lives.
I go, just call us. I don't care where you are. I will get you home safe. That's what it's all about. I do not want to. And there was a big story. There was a story on the national news last week about a bride and a groom. They had just gotten married, and they were in a golf cart, and some drunk driver killed the bride, almost killed the groom too, on their wedding night.
Wow.
And and when my son got home from practice, I made him sit down and watch that story, and we say this all the time. One mistake can totally change your life and a lot of other people's lives.
Yeah.
So I sat him down. I said, I want you to watch this. And he did.
Good on you.
Hopefully he learned something.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, Reese, southbound 91, got delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. A little slow again between 22 and 21 in Cromwell, and again a little slow as you push down by exit 19 in Meriden. Northbound 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Berkeley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you've got delays a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 looking good. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Middletown's okay, 9 in the Aragodi Bridge. 9 northbound slowing in Berlin, 32 up to 34 in New Britain. Westbound side of 84, you've got delays 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster. It's sluggish. 84 eastbound sluggish again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Southbound 91 delays 8 down in toward the 95 interchange in New Haven, and 95 southbound slow traffic 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, temperatures are mostly in the low and mid-40s around the region, so anything that continues to fall out of the sky tonight will continue as rain, and we'll have periods of rain into the early evening, then some drizzle late. The low only down to 38 overnight. Watch for some areas of fog as well, lingering into the day on our Tuesday. We'll get spotty drizzle early in the morning. Otherwise, like I said, that low clouds and fog lingering, the high of 45. Wednesday, windy, warmer, rain, and a thunderstorm. Some of that rain heavier later could lead to some flooding in the low-lying and poor drainage areas. The high 62. South winds kicking up to 15 to 25 miles an hour. Still windy on our Thursday, partly sunny. It's going to be much chillier. The high 42 will feel like it's well down in the 30s with the west-southwest wind still at 15 to 25. Plenty of sun, colder on Friday, but less windy. The high of 38, mostly sunny. The high of 39 for Saturday. Currently, it's 43 in Waterbury, 39 in Mansfield, 45 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Did you know Awaken 180 is an approved expense for both HSA and FSA accounts? Reserve your consultation for December, and you decide the start date, now or on day one of the new year. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you need the Carter Mario Law Firm, Connecticut's firm for the injured. We are ready to fight for you 24/7. So go to getcarter.com or call us at 877-GET-CARTER.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Do you have shoeboxes?
Oh, a minute.
Old videotapes and photos? Starting now, radio listeners get access to our best last-minute holiday deals from Legacy Box. Get your family's videotapes converted for just $9 and photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents each, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of old media. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media. It's the most meaningful this holiday season. Take advantage of this exclusive last-minute holiday offer from Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
5 o'clock focus in full swing. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Teenagers drinking, but I know some of you are calling about some other stuff. We'll get to both of those things as well. Joe is in Simsbury. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, thank you. So sometimes I actually think that Chris from Wethersfield with his fake, I'm an independent, giving thought to different things. Gets me more riled up than our racist friend Tim from Wallingford.
Oh, don't call him racist. He just called me Mom's Mabley. That's it.
All right, no racist undertones.
Nah,
there.
no racist undertones at all.
Okay, so let me preface what I'm going to say with regards to Chris's call.
Okay.
There's a guy, and I'm going to venture that probably 95% of the people listening will have never heard this name. But his name is Seth Keshel, and it's Captain Seth Keshel from the U.S. Army, former military intelligence, and he is an expert on voting patterns and voter fraud.
Okay.
And he's been communicating for a long time now, since Trump had the election stolen from him, all of this detail. And Seth announced recently that he's going to be becoming a member of the Trump administration, so that they can look at not only the 2020 election with a new lens, and that lens being actual facts, because it would be nice to know where that additional 15 million votes went.
Okay.
As well as he is saying that Kamala Harris got about between 2 and 3% fraudulent votes in this election.
Right, and it's
So
yes, that's
they're
been
going to
strongly talked about, especially with the I guess the recent or the still pending counts in California.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. And if Captain Keshel is given any kind of power to make changes, there's going to be things that are going to come out that are going to make people have to eat a lot of their words.
Right.
But I bring this up as a preface to the whole January 6th thing that Chris was going down. And he's not the only person doing this. In the Constitution, it is very clear. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish the government when it becomes destructive to the people of the country. And when it comes to January 6th, I'm not a cheerleader for what some people did there in any way.
Right.
But let's look at the facts. The facts as we now know them, as we approach the end of 2024, is that the American people who had their heads screwed on straight were saying, hey, we think there's something bad in this election. We want Congress to look at it and potentially delay the process that they're doing. And the fact is Congress, for the most part, gave us all the middle finger.
Yep.
And now we're finding out just how much there was fraud in that election.
Oh,
So
even thereafter with the January 6th committee investigating the events of that day.
Yeah. So when it says that we have the right to alter or abolish the government that's not working, in our best interests, the fact of the matter is that is a constitutional right. It is not something that is an opinion of someone who's on the right or the left. Right. It is given to us by our founding fathers. And had our government said, okay, we're going to do a little delay, we're going to take a look at some stuff, then we kind of lose that right.
Sure.
But if we don't have the right to do what these people did on January 6th, when we've asked our government to do it, then the terms alter and abolish have to come up, because if they're not going to do it, what choice do we have other than tyranny?
Yeah, exactly.
And again, I'm looking at it through the lens of what we now know about 15 million votes suddenly disappearing.
Right. And if to suggest that 15 million people not only stepped out of the election, which again, if we're to believe, those on the left, the most consequential election of our lifetime, that the next one that is possibly going to get Donald Trump in office again, those people don't show up, which makes no sense.
It is, and again, I'm kind of walking the line here because no one wants to see what happened on January 6th.
Ever.
But you have to ask yourself the question, if you ask the government to do the right thing and the government gives you the middle finger, what are we supposed to do?
Right.
The
Supreme Court wouldn't hear it. You're absolutely right. The Supreme Court wouldn't hear it. No one would hear it. In essence, if there's anything that we saw there, Joe, was that the American people had no power in a constitutional representative republic. And again, that goes against the very fabric of our Constitution.
And I'm going to conclude with this: that if we didn't magically have 15 million votes disappear just now, but Trump got elected, I'm not so sure that most of the January 6ers would be pardoned. But it is so obvious.
Yeah.
These people, some of them actually deserve the Medal of Freedom because they were so right and so many people were so wrong.
Yeah, indeed.
And you're either going to have a government that works for the people and is by the people, or you're going to have a tyranny. Yeah. Which one do you want?
That's true. Thank you, sir. I totally appreciate you. Thanks for holding on, too. Let's go to Arnold in Bristol. How we doing, Arnold?
Good afternoon, Reese. I used to listen to Feinberg, but I didn't like what he had to say, so I never listened again. So I almost missed when you first started.
Well,
but I'm
glad you're here.
Now. I listen every day.
Thank you.
But I have a couple of things going on. One, this Penny case in New York.
Yeah.
Now, he had to pay tremendous amount of lawyer fees and whatever the case may be.
Sure.
To get this thing washed off like he did.
Yeah.
But why isn't Bragg responsible for those costs? Why isn't the prospect if they don't? We've got to get rid of the dirtbags that are prosecutors, and the only way to do it is make them responsible.
Yeah, you know what? If it's unfortunate because tort reform only deals with civil litigation, right? So there isn't like if you bring a lawsuit and you end up losing, you have to pay the legal fees of the person you sued. We don't have that kind of reform in the criminal justice system. And as from what we learned from Kamala Harris, here it is, a prosecutor can make Daniel Penny's life miserable and run him into bankruptcy by bringing this bogus charge in the first place. He doesn't, unfortunately, have any recourse. He has the only thing he could do is, lay upon the mercy of the people who very much in their GoFundMe operation get him his legal fees covered for. I think he raised about $2 million to cover his legal fees. If indeed he's financially strapped, he may have to do the same thing. But I agree with you. Alvin Bragg shouldn't be allowed to do that to any average citizen, especially in this case.
It's got to be changed because we can discriminately charge somebody,
indeed,
knowing that they're not going to get convicted, and then you're out the money, whatever it is, to defend yourself, and the end result is you're going to be short of funds unless there's GoFundMe, which I think is ridiculous. I think it's nice that somebody did that.
Yeah,
but I don't think it should be necessary. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, it may not work out for everyone. Daniel Penny thankfully had a national story that many people heard and garnered so much attention that people were able to help him. He may not have been so lucky had this not been a national story. But there's another point you made, and I believe that what we need to do at the start is we cannot give blanket indictments to prosecutors. I believe there should be a measure of how in which you get an indictment in any case. You know the old argument, Arnold, about you can indict a ham sandwich, right? Because and I've had a good friend of mine, Amy, who's been on a grand jury before. And she said, I was talking about this, but having never been on a grand jury, she actually went there and she said, she came back and she said, everything you said about the grand jury is 100% right. Because I've read stories about this. The grand jury is almost the easiest place you can. It's not a hyperbole to say that a prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich. It's that easy. They are given license to indict anyone at any time for anything. And we need to change that process.
Absolutely. We got to make sure that those guys are responsible. Those gals and guys are responsible for their decisions.
Indeed.
Which we don't do.
You got
now,
it, sir.
Dealing with the kids and drinking, I had two boys. We didn't allow them to drink at all.
Do they drink now in their currently? Do they drink regularly now or at all?
One of them drinks a little more than the other, but not much. But when I grew up, I'm in my 80s.
Okay.
When I grew up, till I was 21, I drank like a fish. But at 21, I stopped drinking. I haven't done very much drinking since. So it was kind of in our household that it just wasn't available, just wasn't something that they wanted to do.
Right.
So I think that's the answer. And the third thing I have, Chris Murphy, I hate the bastard.
Well, wait. I can't let you go off on Chris Murphy. That's not a subject for today. But you can always come back, Arnold. I appreciate you, buddy. I totally do. Thank you, man. He was about to go off on him. Let's go to Jeff in Marlboro. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How you doing, Reese?
I'm good, sir. What do you got for me?
Yeah, so that guy's last line, I like that. I hate the bastard.
So, okay, on the drinking front, do you have any, kids who used to be teenagers or grown now? What's your stance on that?
I do not have any children.
Okay.
I have 2 points, though. You know I'm always a 2-point caller.
Sure.
Teen drinking, I don't think it should be allowed.
Gotcha.
There's too many drinking. We got legal cannabis now.
Yeah.
We got legal gambling in the state. Sports gambling. Everybody's turning into an addict of something. Porno. Whatever it may be.
Yeah, we've become a very permissive existence, so to speak. Right? That certain things that we kept in the dark are now sort of out in the open as, sort of commonplace.
Yeah, and the old blue laws, they weren't so bad. They weren't so great either. But I don't think we should start telling people at a young age that drinking and gambling and whatever, is such a great thing. I don't think that this is something that we should really foster.
Gotcha.
And my parents never let me drink as a teenager. I'm not saying I didn't,
right?
But they wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, I don't. That's the part that I've got a problem with as well. It's just like I don't know if I'm cool with parents just allowing their kids to drink in front of them. To me, it's almost like allowing your child to curse and say like the F word in front of you. I'm going, you might use that someplace else, but not around me. We're not that comfortable ever.
Yeah, no, it's just not a good idea. It's just not good. You want to do that on your own when you get older, fine. You do what you do.
Yeah.
My other point was, caller earlier, when you talk about the, and even Mark Christopher said, I'll pick you up anywhere. Don't get in a car with someone who's been driving. I remember when I graduated high school, me and my friends, we did some drinking.
Sure.
And sure enough, I called home. I'd been drinking, and I said, "Well, you told me. Pick me up, no questions. Pick me up, no questions?
Did they ever pick you up, no questions asked?
Let me tell you something. Every question was asked.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad. Listen, if in your case, I'm glad your folks did it anyway because I'm sorry. I would have just said, "What the hell made you think you could do that?" Thank you, Jeff. I got to take a break. Let's get back to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading southbound 91, coming into Hartford, still seeing some slow traffic up in Windsor, 36 to 35. Again, 33 down to 32 A and B. And again, more slow traffic as you move down by exit 28 down to just south of exit 25 S&N. We have an accident reported there. After that, some slow traffic as you push toward exit 23 in Rocky Hill, West Street. And some sluggish traffic from exit 21 in Cromwell down to exit 18 in Meriden on the southbound side of I-91. Northbound 91 moving well Cromwell through downtown. A little slow traffic 35 to 36 in Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up in East Hartford approaching the Boakton Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Another bump as you move up between exit 39A and Farmington. We have an accident by exit 37 Finneman Road. Looks like the two right lanes are blocked, so you want to stay left there. 84 eastbound coming into Hartford delays about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 291 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. 9 northbound in Berlin. Look out for an accident up by exit 34 on the right shoulder. Delays are back to 32 behind that. If you're traveling into Waterbury, westbound side of 84 slowing approaching 26 in Cheshire. It's sluggish up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound sluggish, 26 down to the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound, Danbury tight up New York, Connecticut line out to 5. Another slowdown, 84 eastbound by exit 9 in Newtown. And if you're traveling into New Haven, we have an accident reported 91 southbound between exit 3 and 2 on the right shoulder involving a tractor trailer. Delays back to exit 8 in New Haven. Behind that, 95 southbound slowing 48 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Cloudy with some rain on our Monday afternoon, the high of 50. Then areas of fog tonight, periods of rain during the evening, then some drizzle late, the low down to 38. Spotty drizzle early Tuesday morning. Otherwise, those low clouds and fog linger for us, the high 45. On Wednesday, we'll get rain and a thunderstorm. Some of it will be heavy later in the day. Could lead to some flooding in the low-lying and poor drainage areas. The high of 60 Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Health officials in North Stonington say a rabid raccoon was found in town today. The animal was spotted on Cedar Drive, taken for testing, which then confirmed the presence of rabies, which can be fatal if left untreated. Anyone with any information or anyone with any questions, that is, being asked to get in touch with the health district, or the Ledgelight Health District, or the North Stonington Animal Control Office. An arrest of a person of interest in the killing of an insurance company CEO in New York. Luigi Mangione picked up at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania today on an unrelated charge. He's not been formally charged in the shooting death of Brian Thompson. Father of a little girl accused of killing her mom in Ansonia will go on trial next year. Jose Morales was arrested in connection with the death of Christine Holloway 5 years ago. Their baby girl, Vanessa, has not been seen since that December 2019 killing. Jose Morales' trial begins in March. The man who put an unruly subway rider in a fatal chokehold in a New York subway has been acquitted. Manslaughter charges were dropped against Daniel Penny, who was then cleared of the charge of criminally negligent homicide. New London police say they are investigating a rash of commercial burglaries in the city. They do say an arrest has been made in connection with a Sunday night burglary on Bank Street. Javon Young facing charges in that case. And there was a wreath-laying ceremony today at the state capitol ahead of this weekend's National Wreaths Across America Day. Millions of volunteers will gather at some 4,600 locations in all 50 states to lay wreaths at the grave sites of American servicemen and women on Saturday. There is a ceremony at the State Veterans Cemetery in Middletown at noon on Saturday. Dow down 240 points today on Wall Street. It was a down day all around. The Nasdaq shedding 123 points and the S&P dropping 37 points. Knicks in Toronto tonight. They'll face the Raptors. Rangers at the Garden host the Blackhawks. And in Monday Night Football, it's the Bengals at Jerry's World to take on the Cowboys. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First in Maine, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
This is an important
minute.
U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe.
That's that crazy Bob dude that keep calling.
At People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get.
I don't know what you want to do with that.
800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
Can't get to a WTIC holiday store? Donate from your phone. Text WTIC to 31333.
We'll get to the rest of your phone calls in a minute, so stand by. The 5 o'clock focus question is about teenage drinking. Do you allow your teenagers, or have you allowed your teenagers to drink in the home? Mark Christopher said, if his son is ever out drinking, just call home. And I told him, I've always loved that idea. My kids have never been in that position, thank goodness, where I had to go and pick them up. I don't think I would have been able to deal myself. I think Jeff mentioned that. He's saying, how do you not ask questions? You have to ask questions. What did you drink? How many of them did you have? That's just parents. You're going to be inquisitive like that. Also, of course, this time is the What Happened portion of the show. We talked about Daniel Penny, who has been found not guilty. He wasn't acquitted. He's found not guilty of killing Jordan Neely, and we played the video of him, Jordan Neely, attacking a passerby on a 42nd Street sort of walkway. I have that video, of course. You can watch that by going to ReeseOnTheRadio.com or rebroadcasting the show there online. So there are plenty of things that came out of that, but Black Lives Matter is talking about how we need to get more vigilantes of our own out there. We need our own vigilantes. Hawk Newsom, a very agitated Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, by the way, folks, for those of you who don't know, Black Lives Matter is no more. I see all these people posting on X. There's a Black Lives Matter founder, Hawk Newsom. There's no Black Lives Matter. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. It is a joke. This is just some outfit where people are tweeting online. Black Lives Matter 860, you don't exist. You're not even a thing. You're like a one-person operation with a Twitter handle. You're not real. You're not real. You're just a rabble-rouser. So they're screaming and hollering, talking about, we need to have our own vigilantes.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us?
You first, Hawk. Why don't these people ever decide to be the vigilantes they're talking about? We need some black vigilantes. How about you? You first, homie. Lead us. Oh, this is just too funny. What happened was brought to you by the Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app so you never miss an episode of Reese on the Radio or any one of our fine programming here, from Tom Shattuck to Brian in the Morning, with our good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center, because he's a part of that whole damn.
Hey.
Mark, you're here all day.
I'm here all day?
All day. Well, you're part of the morning crew. Brian and company.
Tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be there all day.
Yeah, I know you're going to be at. Will you be at Glastonbury, right?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No, I got traffic in the morning. Traffic in the afternoon.
Okay.
And I'm doing middays on one of our FM stations.
Oh, okay.
On TIC FM.
Okay.
So I will be in all day tomorrow.
Goodness gracious. All right, good to go.
Tomorrow.
I hear you.
Yep. Playing the hits, man. Playing the hits. Doing those talk-ups, hitting those posts. You know how it goes.
I know.
Hey, if you're heading into downtown Hartford now, Reese, southbound 91 is a little slow, 36 to 35. Again, 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. And some slow traffic again, 28 sluggish down to just south of exit 25N in Wethersfield. An accident reported there. If you're southbound 91, again, you're slowing in Middletown from 20. It's sluggish and stop and go down to 18 in the 691 interchange. North Penn 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84, okay. 84 westbound slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to exit 46 Sisson Avenue. And again, you're going to see heavy delays as you move up on exit 42 in West Hartford up to exit 37 in Farmington. We got an accident that's been moved over to the right shoulder there, so a little bit of curiosity delay with that. 9 northbound, look out for an accident on the right shoulder up exit 34 in New Britain, delays back to 32 in Berlin. Westbound side of 84 slows 26. It's sluggish in 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound sluggish going down the Big Hill, heading down toward the 691 interchange in Cheshire. 84 eastbound Danbury delays New York Connecticut line out to 5. If you're heading toward New Haven, 91 southbound between exit 8 and the 95 interchange, look for delays there. We had an accident on the southbound side of 91, and that was in the right center lane between exit 3 and 2 involving a tractor trailer, so look out for that. Also a crash now northbound in the Parkway in Meriden between 67 and 68 and an E. The right lane is shut down there, and that looks like it's carrying heavy traffic back to Miller Avenue behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Periods of rain early this evening, then some drizzle late. Overcast with areas of fog tonight, the low down to 38. On Tuesday, spotty drizzle early in the morning, otherwise low clouds and fog lingering throughout the day, the high of 45. Windy and warmer Wednesday with rain and a thunderstorm. Some of that rain's going to be heavy at times, could lead to some flooding in the low-lying and poor drainage areas. The high up to 62 with those south winds kicking up to 15 to 25 miles an hour. Thursday, partly sunny, windy, and much cooler. The high 42 is going to feel like it's well down in the 30s with the gusty west-southwest wind still at 15 to 25. Less windy Friday, but cooler. Plenty of sunshine, a chilly day, the high 38. Saturday, mostly sunny, still chilly, the high 39. Bridgeport at 46, New Haven at 48, 42 for Bristol, and 43 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Steel holiday savings are here. Make room under the tree for gifts at the top of their wish list. Power up the holidays with great deals on long-lasting tools. Find the perfect gift at your local Steel dealer or shop the Steel Holiday Gift Guide at SteelUSA.com.
Not all products are available in all 50 states. Compounded products are not FDA approved nor verified for safety, efficacy, or quality. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. See website for full details.
Why try Hims for weight loss? If you're interested in personalized prescription options, including Ozempic, Wegovy, oral medications, and compounded GLP-1 injections, and the support to see real results, you might like it. Why try Hims to regrow hair? If a range of treatment options made with clinically proven ingredients like minoxidil and finasteride for thicker, fuller hair in 3 to 6 months sound good, you might like it. Why try Hims for ED? If you've been looking for access to doctor-trusted treatments like Viagra, Cialis, and their more affordable generic counterparts, you and your partner might like it. The Hims process is simple, 100% online, and treatments are shipped free to your door in discreet packaging if prescribed. What's not to like? To save big on weight loss, hair loss, and ED solutions, get started today at Hims.com. That's Hims.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, credit where credit is
Good to
due.
go.
Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education fast and affordable. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, folks, we are almost out of here, but phone calls have poured in for the 5 o'clock focus, so let's make sure we get to every one of them before we get out of here. Let's start off with, let's go to Bill in Waterbury. How we doing, Bill?
What's up, Reese? How are you?
Pretty good, sir. What do you got?
You know, like I told my kid and all my neighbors, you want to get high, you let me know what day. I'll buy the best shit, best stuff you could get, and we'll sit down and get high together. You want to drink? Tell me if you want beer, alcohol, wine. We'll sit down and we'll bang out the whole bottle. This way here, when you get drunk, you're going to know how you feel in a safe area.
Yeah, I can't condone any of that at all. I just think that that's a little irresponsible, especially I'm not purchasing anything for any one of my kids, which again, which is part of the reason why I've got a problem with this with my stepson, is that first of all, someone's got to provide that for him, even if it's in the house. And I can't. It's just something about that just says to me, like my mom would have never imagined that. Like that would have never been the case. In fact, I've got a great story about that too. My mom was very much like you in that regard. Because as I got older, around 17 years old, my mom was very much like you were, where she condoned the use of marijuana. And I just, again, still having been a parent and, of teenagers, I don't know. I just, for me, not ever a good look. I just couldn't do it. But thank you. I appreciate the call. Ron is in East Windsor. How are we doing, sir?
Good evening, Reese. How you doing?
I'm all right. What you got?
Getting back to the January 6th real quick, because this is very important. You were talking about their testimony and what they were saying. Now, you have to understand the prosecution tactic was promising lighter sentences for people who were telling that Trump was part of the fraud. That was they're acting on his order.
Indeed, right. So you have to say
they were told they're going to go to jail, and they were all told, including the shaman, if you say this about Trump, you're going to get a 5-year less sentence. So you have to be careful about when you go back and like, hey, Trump was part of the problem. Trump kind of encouraged us to do this, which he didn't, because it was always like be peaceful. And you have to remember, these people got a permit. No insurrectionists get a permit to do it. They got a permit to go.
No, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. But there's a key point. Now, look, I understand that you're saying that the prosecution in this case is saying, listen, implicate Trump, right? So we can get that on the record, and then we'll use that to lighten your sentence. That's what we call a deal, if you take that deal. Now, again, it doesn't change the fact that Donald Trump's statements are nowhere in concert with the behavior that took place. What I'm saying is that should the pardon come, right, what should be the conditions of said pardon? If you admitted openly that you took Donald Trump's words as being an act or a call to action to destruct or to destroy, I should say, right, and to harm people, if I'm Donald Trump, that's not in accordance to what I said and who I am. So I'm sorry, you can't get a pardon. That's all I'm saying.
But if they were held to the fire to reduce their sentence, you have to take that in consideration.
I would give them what I would do is, instead of giving them a pardon, I would give them the opportunity to appeal that decision, because I would make it accessible. Here's what Donald Trump said. Here's what Donald Trump did beforehand with the what do you call it? With the National Guard. All of those things would be presented as evidence to every one of those people. And right now, it's been long enough for a lot of them to appeal their sentencing.
Yeah, it's done by a case-by-case.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Obviously.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate you, sir. Dave is in Brantford. How are you, sir?
How are you, Reese? Only about the booze. In my family, we always integrated it into everything from the youngest age of the kids. When my wife and I were young, we got wine with the, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve.
High holiday kind of drinking?
High holiday with an ice cube in it to dilute it a little bit. So it took away that forbidden fruit attitude. And when my kids got sore throats, there was some peppermint schnapps or maybe some Seagram 7 in with the hot chocolate to, drink it slowly and gargle a little bit as it goes down to neutralize that sore throat for medicinal reasons.
Sure.
Just like Granny on the Beverly Hills.
My grandmother did that a lot.
And we are kind of Christian, and it is important that I phrase it this way. The fruit of the grape is a blessing. Drunkenness is a sin. And so the lesson is, the point of the alcohol is not to get drunk. It is, part of the benefits of life. And so even in the summer, you know what that Seagram's, we call them alcoholic soda pop?
Yeah.
The grape and the watermelon.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the summer, the kids would get, they'd get a cup of that.
Huh.
2 cups would probably be too much. If my kid came out of his bedroom with a beer, that would not be allowed. That would be a problem, of course. And I want to end it on this. I am a hypocrite. We do not pass a joint around the Christmas tree. That definitely would expel you from my house. Whether you were a guest, no matter what your age was, that would not be acceptable. So, okay.
Much
I'm
appreciated, sir. I love it. I do. I love
Bye.
it. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. Just the marijuana thing, that's a bridge too far. Just that, again, The drinking thing for a 17-year-old boy, I have a problem with it. It maybe, and I'll go, let me go this far. There is a degree of bias on my part, right? I don't drink anymore, so I may be coming off as a zealot. You know, I don't drink. I don't want him drinking, that kind of deal. There may be a little bit of that bias in it. I'm not going to deny that, right? I don't want him to end up in a place where, you know, he's some recovering alcoholic. Right? I don't want him to be in a place where the alcohol is the reason for solving all your problems. Hey, life gets, you know, screwed up, get drunk. You know, I don't want to think that behavior then transfers into his college years where he's just some beer guzzling frat boy. Right? So there are concerns. I'm a parent, so those things happen. Right? We all get ahead of ourselves on what our kid's going to be like. When the introduction of alcohol, you immediately start getting nervous. But what I'm saying is that there can never be any, let's just say, normalization of drinking at that age. It just can't be. Now, I know maybe here in the stateside, we might be a little, you know, let's just say restrictive in that area. And we are in a lot of places. I hear all these people talk about, like, nudity. It's like, in America, you guys were always kind of uptight about nudity. I'm like, this is a good thing. And I don't like it when people frown on us about how uptight we are about nudity. You know, I take offense to that. We don't want people walking around nude, right? Because it's always trust me, once you start saying that it's okay to be nude, it's never the people you expect getting nude. You know what I'm talking about here. It's always the worst candidate. The worst. I don't mean that to be, this sounds so mean, but you know what I'm talking about. I remember in New York City, the first time they allowed people, there was this big law that said that women can walk around topless. And sure enough, because they had banished the law, women were on the subway topless. And the first woman to do it, I don't even have to tell you. Let me just tell you, you know she voted for Jill Stein, Kamala Harris, or Hillary Clinton. That's all I got to say, without a doubt. Okay? You know exactly what I'm talking about without me having to say it. Women would not have been happy with this woman walking through the subway topless. But sure enough, the news followed her. And I think there was a blessing behind it as well, because I believe that the aesthetics of this young lady was so over the top and shocking that many women who were advocating for this rule, this law, immediately pulled back and went, maybe not so much. And decided, you know what, maybe it wasn't such a great idea. So there was a blessing in disguise. But alcohol is one of those things that people talk about. It's like, you know, you guys are too upset about alcohol. You guys are afraid of it. I'm like, no. I think a healthy and responsible way to approach things that are adult are important. I think we need to have those boundaries with kids. They need structure. I believe that. Kids need structure, especially teenage kids. Because you get a teenager. What's that kid? It's like, what's the, I forget the game, red light, green light, or like when the kids are about to race down the road, you know, you got that kid who bobs back and forth right before a race. Ready, set, go. That's what a kid is doing at 17 years old when they're looking at being 21. They're constantly in that jumping position. Can't wait. Can't wait. All right, just say go. Just say go. Can't wait. So if you put out those guardrails and say, hey, you know what? Have a couple of beers. It's all right, as long as you're in the house. Kid's looking for that. And a kid, once he sees those guardrails are down in some degree, they always go a step further. Then it becomes, you know, he smoked a little weed. So what? Parents are just, you know, they're flipping about it. He smoked a little bit of weed. It's no big deal. I smoked a little bit of weed. It's like you should be using that that should be the catalyst for you not allowing them to smoke weed. I smoked a little bit of weed. I turned out all right. Sure you did. Sure you did. You turned out so all right, you're allowing your teenager to smoke weed in the house. Yeah. But you know what was the one that really got me? Oh, Roland, you know what the one that really, really got me? When my friends started telling me that they smoked weed with their parents. Oh.
Oh, you don't like that?
Oh. What do you mean I don't like that? Of course not. You can't do that. You can't smoke weed with your folks. I can't imagine passing a joint to my mom. I was like, no, yeah, Mom, yeah, hit that. No, absolutely not.
My good friend just smoked weed with his son.
No, just incredibly ridiculous. The only thing that my kid should be passing me in the house is potatoes or the chicken. Just pass the salt, kid, not the joint. Goodness gracious, who are these people?
It's better than crack.
Oh, now at least it's not crack. Yeah. Because if it was crack, that would be a bridge too far.
Yeah, that's way too far.
Can you imagine that? Yeah, how are you literally? That's apples and oranges. At least it's not crack. Well, I guess not. So you don't see marijuana as like a gateway drug or anything, right?
No, I don't do any of that stuff.
Okay, I know you don't. I'm just saying, like a lot of people do. They don't see it as a gateway drug. I think everything is a gateway to something else, especially when it's permitted before, you're an adult enough to make that decision. Look, here's what I'm saying, folks. Everybody knows that the human brain does not develop on a child until the age of 23. In fact, it's earlier for girls than it is for boys. I think it's girls 23, boys 25.
Well, according to that lady, at 3 years old, you're able to decide what gender you want to be. So,
yeah, that woman's insane. So, if a brain is not fully developed for girls at 23, boys at 25, why would you be giving them something like marijuana or anything, alcohol for that matter? No. I think those kids see that as an opportunity to go above and beyond. So, like I said, I have a problem. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do you think, it would be like reverse psychology, letting them, and then they won't go out and do it as much as they would if they couldn't do it?
I really do think that parents look at it that way. That's the reason why I have such a problem with it. That if you let them do it now, they'll grow out of it when they're an adult. It's like, I've been there, done that. I'm not interested anymore. But drugs are drugs. Alcohol is a drug. If there's anything in the world that makes you feel good or escape your problems, most addicts, and we all have a little bit of addiction. I know a guy who's addicted to Hawaiian Punch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, addictions, the basis of any addiction is more, right? So once you feel good and once it actually sort of solves the problem, so to speak, of whatever it is that ails you, you want more of it. That's how addiction works. So that's why I say I don't think that there's one of those things that eventually or consciously you fall out of fray with because you're bored with it. I've done it. I did that when I was 16. It's not cool anymore. It's always cool. Marijuana, always cool for these kids. Anyway, that's enough for me. I will be back here on Wednesday. Pastor Will be in Glastonbury. Please make sure that you join him here on the show. And if you can, physically there. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. He is Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Plan your work and work your plan. The words to live by. Thank you, Reese. Have a great night. See you Wednesday. If you're westbound 84.
Like he hasn't heard that 1,000 times. He's writing it down again.
You're back in the stop.
All right, buddy.
In West Hartford,
yeah, I guess. Are you? You're still working the boards at
Looks
base,
like they're
right?
taking out some lanes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, they don't let me go anywhere.
Right lane in the right shoulder.
That's all about the change,
crash
my
out
friend.
there.
That's all about the change.
Eastbound side 84, a little slow traffic.
Yeah, other than that, I'll see you on Wednesday.
Southbound 91.
Oh, sounds good. Catch you on Wednesday. Enjoy your day off.
All right, should I send you this music now?
Yeah, you can send them whenever.
Okay, I'll send. All right, I guess I'll email it to you. I'll email you the music.
Northbound 91.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks,
67
No problem.
N&E from an earlier accident. 91 northbound moving well. Cromwell up into Windsor. 291 384. Okay, 2 eastbound moving well.
All right, holla, holla, pop your collar, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you so much. We always appreciate you. I'm sorry I screwed up with the audio again. I promise I won't let it happen again. I've had it so set up, and I still screwed it up. But we won't have that problem next time. All right, love you guys. Be good to each other.